All right. Excited, man. Let's get hey, excited, brothers and sisters. Excited, man. Um, in about 12 or so hours, the bodies are gonna hit the floor. All right. We know this. The bodies are gonna hit the floor. Let me check a few things. Of course, I gotta do the check 1 2 1 2, all that stuff. I gotta make sure everything is goody. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Let me check something here. Let me see how we look on Sportscaster. Hey, Sportscaster was good. Let me check. I'm just doing my levels. You know what I'm saying? Checking a few things. All right. All right. So Uncle Freezy is on. Good, good, good. So we live on Sportscaster. And let me check one other thing real quick, just to make sure all my peoples is here. What's good, y'all? What's good, party people? Let me check one more thing before we get cranked up real good. Where is my? Just gonna check this real quick. All right. So we are good on both. Good, good, good. All right. Make sure lighting is right. All right. What's good, everybody? So it's been a busy. Light want to go on me. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know about that line. Hold on. I think I like that better. Like this a little bit better. All right. So things have been busy, man. The rumor mill is churning, brothers and sisters. The rumor mill has been churning. So I saw a thing on a report from Bleacher Report where Mark Berman said something about the Knicks being interested in Gordon Hayward, right? Hey, man, Gordon Hayward is a piece, brothers and sisters. And I know y'all about to say, well, Uncle Freezy, how much does it cost? And to fit with RJ and Mitch and all these different things. Let me tell y'all who y'all small forward was last year. This past season. The Knicks starting small forward for like 30 games. Or I'm sorry, like 20 games. Mo Harkless. Right? So before we start all this, well, how much does it cost to do such and such? Think about who your starting small forward was last year for about 20 games. Mo Harkless. So immediately, we already know that Gordon Hayward is an immediate upgrade over Mo Harkless, right? Hey, what's good, Michael Jones? What's happening? Yo, hey, shout out to the chat too, by the way. These last few shows have been off the chain. This thing is growing like wildfire, y'all. I don't know. Y'all probably don't know, but I've been getting requests from other Knicks contributors to jump on with us. You know what I'm saying? This Knicks at Night is growing fast. It's growing fast, and it's because of y'all. It ain't because Uncle Freezy is pretty, even though I am a little confident in myself. It ain't because of my ugly mug that is growing fast, or because of what I know. It's because the Knicks fan base usually bring the heat. That's a good thing, man. That's a good thing, man. Y'all bring the heat. Y'all bring so much heat that cats want to get on with y'all. But anyway, back to my point. So Gordon Hayward is available, right? And I think it's criminally negligent if the Knicks don't at least kick the tires on it to see what's. Yeah, look who in the building. The New York Knicks is in the building. Oh, hey, my homie, yo, leading the Knicks podcast is in the building. Was good. Y'all didn't know that was like my half cousin. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Teddy in the building. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Yeah, man. My peoples is in the building for show. So the thing with Gordon Hayward is this, and I'm gonna just get back to this point because I know sometimes like y'all are saying in the comments or DM me like, "Yo, Free, you know, Freeze, you be talking about a topic, and then all of a sudden we get sidetracked." I know, man. I know, but like it's like when you don't see your people for a while and they show up, you're like, "Yo, look at my man." So, but anyway, I'm gonna try to compromise on that. Try to stay on topic, but still shout out my people too. So, but anyways, the Gordon Hayward thing, I think you had at least have to kick your tires, right? For me to do a Gordon Hayward deal, I think we have to consider the asking price for Boston's end, not our end, because we don't want to give them diddly poo, right? For an in-division rival, we don't want to help them win a championship, right? But what we would like to do is acquire an asset if that asset can be attained at a reasonable price, right? So I would say from Boston's end, Boston has to give us 14 and 30, right? You have to give us 14 and 30 to take on Gordon Hayward's $34 million contract. And I know some of y'all will say, well, that's a heck of a lot to take on $34 million. But depending on, you know, yeah, look who in the building. Hey, can you hear me, dog?
Yeah, damn right I can hear you, bro. You're fucking yelling your ass off, man. What's up,
yeah,
bro?
Yeah. Hey, first let me do this right quick. Even before the welcome. Yo, I watched this Kira Lewis Jr. video as soon as it came out. I got the alert to my phone. I clicked on it. I watched the video. The video was fire. My only thing is, why do we have to wait so long for something so fire? You can't do us like that, dog. You have to,
bro.
You have to wait time to put out stuff like that, man.
Working so. I wish I had an assistant or some shit to fucking aggregate the stuff. If I didn't like, it's like my job, and it's like that gets in a way. Right. If I had the time, if I was a student, I would be pumping out. I would have probably done 10, 15 draft videos by now, man. It is right. It is tough, man. But, you know, I mean, look, I appreciate you guys for watching. And first and foremost, I know everybody's trying to get my channel up, all that stuff. Let's also get people like Marquise Walker's channel up, man. This dude has great stuff on his channel, had a good conversation talking about generational gaps. And it's a shame that, you know, I think that we put a lot into putting bigging up the sports channels. I think we also got to do stuff for the guys who do things other than sports, like Marquise and Charborough, because they've had some excellent episodes recently. Ones that I missed too. For some reason, I didn't get the freaking Pink Floyd alert. I was really pissed because Pink Floyd is my favorite rock group. And Charborough had another one, an excellent one on top 20 horror movies of all time, and I would have been all over that. So if we could get the word out there for these guys, man. I know people say get my shit to 1,000, get those dudes to 1,000 too, because they have some good shit, man. They have some really good shit, and it's a shame that, you know, those channels aren't as pushed. Not say push as mine, but like we just don't do enough for some of our non-sports brethren. So if you could push those guys out there, man, right? Let's do it, man.
Right. Hey, and hey, shout out to Marquis Walker, because he's a super sharp cat, and Tribero Gigolo, and I have a secondary channel too, On and On, where I'm going to start talking about certain topics or whatever, some real life stuff. The only thing though is getting contributors on that understand things at multiple levels. Because, you know, I get a constant stream of people that want to get on, chop it up or whatever. But I have to have people that understand the big picture as also being self-aware. So it's one of those deals where, you know, I'm going to try to push that too. But right now in this season, it's Knicks. It's Knicks, dog.
It is Knicks. It is Knicks right now, man.
It's Knicks and Marquis. Hey, listen, man. I know you're a Lakers fan, and I know y'all probably you excited about getting Dennis Schroeder or whatever. But the Knicks kicking everybody ass.
Don't let they ain't talking about no damn Lakers, man. They got their championship, all right? Marquise, go sit your damn ass down. You're not even from LA. You're from Boston. I mean, well, first of all, given how racist Boston is, I can understand why you be
right.
a Lakers fan. But still, sit your ass down somewhere, man. All right, y'all guys won your championship, your little phony ass championship. Right. I mean, sit back. Let's talk about Knicks shit. All right, Marquise, you got a problem? Fuck out of here, man. Bum ass Lakers, man. Nah, but salute to the Lake. Fuck the Lakers. I can't even.
Teddy said he on the wrong show.
Now, we need non Knicks fans too, man.
Yeah. That balance for sure. But hey, keeping it a buck. I'm so excited about what's about to happen in about 12 or so hours. I think the floodgates are just going to burst open at 12 p.m. tomorrow. I think a lot of teams have had some things that they had maybe handshake, wink, wink agreements on, and can't officially announce it until 12 o'clock tomorrow. So it's just I'm gonna just be up like 24 hours straight, just waiting for Woj bombs all day long, man. I'm excited, man.
How much credence do you put on this Westbrook BS, man?
So I think the Westbrook to the Knicks thing is a done deal already.
Oh my gosh, man! Look, Westbrook does fit the prototype on the surface of what when you look at like Derrick Rose, even aggressive guards like Jeff T.
Yeah,
Westbrook does fit a certain mold in aggressive guards, guys who can slash, can break down defenses and kick out to the perimeter. Especially to the corner where he's obviously going to focus on corner threes. Only thing to me, again, I know you guys like Westbrook and all that stuff, is just I don't want to give it too many aspects because I don't think that Westbrook he's not a guy that you build your foundation with. I'm sorry. And people might say I'm not a Westbrook hater whatsoever. I love Westbrook when he finally came into his own, especially at OKC final where he was the only guy. I mean, Durant averaged like 20-something, but in that final game, Westbrook was the only guy still pushing the tempo, being uber aggressive against a Heat team that they probably, they knew they were going to lose to. So I have nothing but respect for Westbrook. But as a all-around guard to build the foundation with, I think that you take Westbrook as a stopgap. He will at least provide you better point guard play than anybody else that we had, right? So again, when people say, "Oh, you hate Westbrook, so you want Frank here?" No. I don't want Frank and DSJ running point, but I don't want the Knicks to see Westbrook as the savior at the point guard position. I think that is still a work in progress, even if you get Westbrook, because he's a combo guard stuck in the point guard position. He's not a true point guard. He's not smart, I don't think, to lead and make our team better. But at the point guard position, his production is going to be oodles more than what we've had. Don't give him too much for him.
Right, and so I kind of agree with what you're saying, but I agree from a different perspective, right? So I agree what you're saying to what you're saying is fact, right? But I'm looking at it from a perspective of a Knicks fan that has been through the point guard ringer for multiple years. Like I do this exercise where I say I know y'all love Torrey Murray. I know y'all love the Langston Galloway years. I know y'all love Brandon Jennings slapping the floor against T.J. McConnell, and then T.J. McConnell going off for 30 and hitting the game winner in Melo face. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all love Jeremy Grant. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all love the Franklin experiment.
Hold on. Who are you talking to? Big dog? Who are you talking? It's not me.
No, it's sarcasm. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, yeah. It better be
It's
something.
sarcasm. It's
I
sarcasm.
heard you
It's
yesterday.
sarcasm. That's
I heard you yesterday. Talking trash, talking about y'all just. I'm like, no, dogs. I don't want Frank and DSJ running point. I didn't want DSJ, Vincent, and dudes would kill. Oh, bye. And as soon as he got traded to the Knicks, I was like, oh, you see, right? That's not a true point guard. And when you're undersized like that, you got to be excellent from the point guard position.
right.
So, Russell Westbrook, look, we're going to go to the draft. Unfortunately, I don't think a guy like LaMelo is going to fall to us. Who I think that even though he has flaws, you can start him from day one, and everyone knows that he's a work in progress, right? I don't think that he would, and I think he also enjoy the pressure, right? Killian Hayes is a project. I don't think he's going to fall to us because I think the Pistons are going to swap him up. I don't think that LaMelo is going to fall to Pistons and Killian Hayes goes before him. I just don't see that happening. And then you have other guys like Kara. If you're not sold on him, you know what I mean? Cole Anthony, I'm definitely not. And I've heard, I think a rumor came out that the Knicks nor the Nets are in for Cole Anthony. Like they have not had any communications with them recently. So, and I don't see how he works with the Nets. So I don't think that it's hogwash. And with the Knicks, I don't see it. Not at least not being the first pick. Now, if you feel that you can't get a point guard, if you don't feel confident moving up for, say, a Terrell Terry or even a Kara Lewis from the 27 up, then you go for Westbrook if he's not close to too much assets. Because think about this, for guys like Westbrook, and salute to Joe Madden for pointing this out how efficient he was this year. He hasn't been efficient the other years, but how efficient he was this year. For guys been this productive, right? It says a lot that other teams aren't in for him. If only the Knicks are in for him, we offer the best package, and that package isn't some overwhelming, absurd package for him. You know what I mean? That means that other teams aren't high on him, despite what his numbers may say. And that may validate the fact that he's just not that type of player. So,
right.
You got other guys in the chat. My bad. I didn't talk about you guys. I'm just talking about how the Westbrook works. The Westbrook trade works if we don't get a point guard in this draft.
Yo, I'm looking at Brooklyn. I think that James Harden deal's done.
Yo, Joe, you mad low? You mad low, man?
Yeah, and you got volume in the back that's just playing over you.
Yeah, hold on a sec.
What I was saying, Grandma, I totally agree with you. I don't think we should jump ship right away with the whole Westbrook situation. We definitely should see what's going to happen in this draft first, because it's from everybody's mock draft. Everybody's all over the place. Like, there's no guarantees. Like, you would think the top three is going to be top three. I think we're going to have a surprise in the top three this year.
It's either that or it's going to go as planned. Like, I feel like, well, I mean, it's either or, right? But I feel like there've been so many rumors, bro, of this guy going here, this guy. I think that teams are playing it smart.
Yep.
And not allowing, outside of one, not allowing people to know really where their choices stand, right? They're not allowing teams to basically. So I think they've just been putting a lot of BS rumors. Now, obviously, there could be something. The LaMelo thing is interesting. If LaMelo does not go if he doesn't go at least in the top three, right? So you can have Anthony Edwards, Wiseman. If he somehow doesn't go in the top three, I think that there's going to be a weird fall, because then you have to account for Denny also falling. And I'm not impressed by Denny. I watched him this morning. I watched film of him. I'm waiting for what got everyone so enamored with this guy? Like, I'm watching going to the basket. It's cool. I think somebody said in the scout, or somebody said he's always strong in like his right, which is. People want to compare him to Luka. Luka, I believe, is relatively ambidextrous going to the basket. I watched Denny. I just was not impressed, man. And it's not this European thing. I'm just not impressed. I likened him a little bit to Hazonia when Hazonia came out. And Hazonia was a little bit more explosive for Barcelona. But when I watch Denny, I don't see it. But he's gonna drop if LaMelo drops. Then you got Obi is going to drop as well. I think Obi may drop more than expected, because I don't think teams are as high on him as some of these so-called pundits when they talk about how he's like a Amari Stoudemire and stuff. I think people are scared of his defense, scared of the fact that he's a little bit older, scared of the fact that he did this at Dayton.
Right.
And yes, the season was cut short, but again, when you watch him, it's like, okay, but it's a big man who kind of needs a ball a lot in his hand to kind of be effective, like a dual kind of four who
So
can space the floor.
I get that. I get that part, but what they have to look at is positive too. The Dayton Flyers coach Anthony Grant ran an offense similar to what the Golden State Warriors ran. Right now, Dayton's offense didn't feature a point guard like Steph Curry or a shooting guard like Klay Thompson, but they're 4 or 5 man, 8 out of that offense. So if you look at Obi Toppin's offensive basketball IQ, in that offense, being a decision maker, being the next in line to that, and I'm gonna say some names and y'all probably gonna laugh, but the Spurs did it with a cat named Boris Diaw, right? Steve Kerr took that same perch point type thing to Golden State and molded what's the kid name?
Draymond?
Draymond Green doing the same thing, being the decision maker at the elbow, making a pass or going to the basket. And Obi Toppin kind of made those same decisions at Dayton with Anthony Grant. So the upside is there in terms of offensive knowledge. I think the defensive IQ was there. I think physically he's limited in what he can do on defense, though, because he just looks awkward, turning his hips and running with guys on
he's
defense.
too top heavy. He's too top heavy. When you watch him play, he has absolutely no hit movement. All of his it's kind of like he has that, like skinnier lower body, and then this big upper half. And his hip movement is like non-existent. I think what you're saying, Freezy, put like this: if you are, say, Chicago, give me this: Chicago Hawks. I can see him going to Hawks. Chicago Hawks. Even though I think they would probably take an off guard like Halliburton. I don't think Obi last. You gotta be. You tell me, Freezy, are you confident if you're Chicago Pistons or the Hawks that you make Obi Toppin basically one of the primary ball handlers on your team?
No, not at all. Not at all. And especially in Atlanta.
Cavs are taking a pearl. Sorry. So I didn't mean to cut you off, Freezy. I was just trying to talk to you. My bad, Freezy. Sorry about that.
No worries. No, definitely not in Atlanta. When you already have a John Collins, and you also have wing players that have decent enough handle to play off ball, and their greater need in Atlanta is a secondary ball handler. Like that could be the primary when Trae Young goes to the bench, or secondary when defenses are solely focused on Trae Young. So I don't see him in that role at all.
Freezy, the only way I say is because I don't think that they're convinced with John Collins all the way. And I think that he offers scoring a little bit more, spaced out scoring from the front court. Like outside of John Collins, they really don't have another guy who do. Now, again, Cam Reddish, I know many people may not be as high on him, right? I still think that Cam Reddish, if he gets his head together, could be that off guard for Trae Young. Even though I think that what's his name would fit better. Halliburton.
Herter?
No, Halliburton.
Okay.
And they also still have Herter, but Herter hasn't really done much, right? But if you could have that type of scoring from the front court, because John Collins can't score the same way Obi does, right? He's more of a run to the rim. He's kind of like I guess you call him a prototypical 4 or whatever you want to call him. Obi Toppin's a guy who can space out the floor, dribble, I think do a little bit more. And I think that dynamic with Trae Young, and I think he runs some pick and roll too, right? He does.
He runs a lot of pick and roll.
I think that could be a big offensive weapon for that team. I think he'd fit Trae Young maybe even a little bit better than Halliburton. Now, I feel like him and Halliburton, Trae Young and Halliburton would be a really good backcourt because they just complement each other well. But to feed off of Trae Young, if you have to account for Obi Toppin, who could slash from the top or slash from the wing and shoot from there, like that's going to take a lot more attention off of Trae Young. I think a little bit more to Halliburton.
And the thing with John Collins now is he's looking for a max contract after the season.
Right.
So they have to hesitate. Are they going to stick with him and pay him, or are they just going to maybe trade him and take Obi? Because to be honest, I think Obi fits their system better. It'll help Trae Young a lot with screens and stuff. So I think that's a move that they could do, take Obi and try and move John Collins. So that's a possibility.
Well,
Because,
well,
like,
John Collins is a decent 3-point shooter also now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a bad three. I think he's shooting what, like 37% or something, 38% something.
He actually shot 40% on 3 per 6 attempts. That's pretty freaking good for a big man.
Yeah. So I think John Collins fits. I think the money doesn't fit. I think the money deal is what's killing him. Yeah, because you can't pay him and Clint Capella. You know what I'm saying? In that running gun offense, you can't take.
I forgot that. I keep forgetting that Clint Capella, man.
Yeah, you can't legit pay $40 million for a big, and most of the time you're only going to have like one of them on the floor. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think that's probably the reason why they don't want to pay John Collins. Hey, so I wanted to run something interesting by y'all. I want to get back to Teddy's point where Teddy was making his point, but hey, everybody in the chat, tell me who y'all's least favorite point guard has been in the last 15 seasons. Tell me who your least favorite point guard is. I just want to go show down memory lane while we have this conversation about what Teddy said. Somebody may not be going in the top three. I mean, because I would venture to say the top three is going to be the same, but I hadn't heard anything, and I hadn't heard anything to say the top three won't be the same. So if there's a situation out there, Ted, that you've heard that maybe we hadn't, maybe you can elaborate on it.
Well, there's somebody that had Killian Hayes jumping up into the top three.
Like, over LaMelo or just
Killian Hayes been getting a lot of traction lately.
Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer had Killian Hayes going number 2 to Golden State.
Wow.
That to me, I don't know. Is that realistic? It could be. Because I think the worst.
So in what context? In what context did they mention it? Did they say like a source close to Golden State said that Killian Hayes is in the mix, or
did you
hear? It's BS. There's no way a project like Killian Hayes that the Warriors, instead of trading out that pick and get more picks, or taking a guy with a higher floor, they take a Killian Hayes who isn't the greatest of 3-point shooters. Even though off the dribble he shot like 40-some%, but overall he shot like 28, and needs time to develop, needs a ball in his hand, needs a lot of pick and roll. There's no way. That's what I'm talking about. I think that's just a diversion, man.
But to be totally honest though, I think Golden State's trading their pick anyways.
They might try out of it. And the thing about that, they would have a perfect trade partner in the Celtics, right? But those picks suck. 14, 26, and 30. That's way too low. Unless who would fit the Warriors at 14? RJ Hampton.
To be honest, I'd say it's Sadiq Bey.
Ooh,
he'd sit them perfect. He can post up, stretch the floor. That'd be someone. That's someone that's been rumored that they had interest in. They'd have interest in everyone. They were interested in Denny. They were interested in Vassell. They were interested in Melo, Wiseman. They're putting out links interested with anybody, so you never know who they're going to take if they keep the pick. But
that's not bad. I mean, but think about the value though. So you pick a Sadiq Bey, but then 26 and 30 are straight trash, right?
You can get some nice shooters in around
Isaiah Joe, Ramsey, James Ramsey.
Jamias Ramsey,
Jamias. I'm sorry, James.
He's good. I think Isaiah Joe's more like an early second round pick because all he does is shoot. He's a chucker. He doesn't have any other offensive game. But
you talk closer to your mic.
I'll tell you who I could take at 26 or 30. You could gamble on Jaden McDaniels, but you probably have to give who's Marcus Sedative, because I think he loves Jaden McDaniels to the Knicks.
Actually, that's not too bad. If you took Jaden McDaniels, stashed him, but you got to really develop him. Because you know what the Warriors need, and I guess Sadiq Bey would fill this in the short term. The Warriors have always had a scoring wing option, right? Whether it was Harrison Barnes, who flopped in the freaking finals that year, or KD, who's obviously one of the best. Sadiq Bey falls somewhere in the middle, more closer to Harrison Barnes, but they've always had a scoring wing, kind of, I guess you call it dual it all, if that makes sense, kind of wing.
Right.
Even if he wasn't, the Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond cog of the system. So that could work. But is that so? If you give me Sadiq Bey, Jaden McDaniels, and say
Desmond Bain.
Desmond Bain, is that enough value at the 2?
They'd want to get a big out of one of them picks too.
Woody Mack said another Knox. Oh man.
Who's another Knox?
I think Jay
Knox?
McDaniels.
Nah, I think they're different in mentality. One is super stoic, almost to the point like he look like he don't care, and the other one is a big ass crybaby where if things don't go his way, he gonna pout like Dale Smith.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, if you get Jaden McDaniels, you legit have a dude that look like he don't care in Kevin Knox, and then you have Jaden McDaniels who's gonna be like a crybaby, like Alonzo Trier.
Yeah.
So it's like with like what do you do in that scenario? I mean, I'm fine with getting Jaden McDaniels because to me and to a lot of others, his upside may be the highest or one of the highest in this draft. Right now, though, he's super raw. Like his body is not right. His skills are not all the way there. So you have to wait like 3 years to get what you want out of Jaden McDaniels.
Like
that's why all these so-called projects, right? Are you convinced that if the Warriors never reach the heights again that they had, and I'm not even talking about just the finals, I'm talking about deep into the playoffs, do they keep Steve Kerr and they keep because the thing about we have to be careful is that some of these 2-3-year projects, right? We have to consider, is this guy talented enough that even if there was a coaching regime, right, and a so-called regime change, right, we're got to decide to move away from the Curry and Clay are the prospects that we have. You don't want a situation where you have Phil Jackson who drives to Frank and he has a blueprint. Then he moves away, and now a guy who's very dependent on what the GM was going to do and how he's going to develop him, he's no longer there.
Right.
And now it's a guy who's not as talented as some other players that we've taken, and now he's stuck on the team. That's what I'm trying to say with Jay McDaniels. And yes, I think Jay McDaniels could be a very poor man's, very, 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 very poor man's KD. Very poor man's.
Very, 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 very,
very poor man.
Brandon Ingram, possibly.
I heard it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. The thing is, into Legion of Doom's, not Legion of Doom, but Legion of Knicks podcast. To his point, Phil drafted Frank and Dot, 2 big guards to play in a triangle. Damian Dotson adapted some to another system, and we're still waiting on Frank. The reason why Dot was able to do it though, because he was more mature physically, and he had a few years in college to look at to look at
role. Yeah, he had a defined role, man. Like and this is the thing I hate is like, you draft a guy like Frank, you better have the perfect plan in place to properly develop. Even when Phil Jackson was here, I mean, Hornacek, is that the guy you want to develop? You know what I mean? Like, you can't be hiring your friends to run a team. And obviously, it's not the same situation now. But Frank was just, even if you like Frank, Frank is you get him later on, right? You let somebody else sit there and try to develop him and bring such a raw product. Because the guy wasn't dominating overseas. You know what I mean? When I look at LaMelo Ball, that's what scares me. Is like, the guy had some numbers, but his efficiencies weren't great. Like, did he truly dominate the NBL?
No, he did not.
RJ Hampton is going to go 14, but a guy like RJ Hampton in stronger drafts, he'd probably be second round just because he had the hip injury, never really developed his jump shot. And you look at
what?
Raw talent.
What's so crazy is you got such a good point of how weak this draft is that we could just make moves and get rid of our draft picks for a veteran.
See, the thing about this draft is weak at the top, but then you go into the middle, there's a lot of value. When you go from like 8 or 9 up until the 30, there's a lot of good value, good role players. There's no big superstars in the draft. See, LaMelo Ball wouldn't go in the top 10 of a normal draft, I don't think. He'd be lucky to be a lottery pick.
Right.
In a normal draft.
Right. Last year, Tankathon had in the very early 2020 mock draft, they had LaMelo mocked number 18 to the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he skyrocketed up boards.
Yeah. I think it's just people say he's about a bust. I think the worst case scenario with him, he might be a 15, 8, and 8 guy because the guy can rebound, and then his playmaking and basketball IQ is too good. His passing is too good for him to be a bust.
So let me ask y'all this: is LaMelo too tall? Is 6'7" and a quarter without shoes too tall to play point guard in the NBA?
No. Magic Johnson's on it at what, 6'9"?
Freaking Ben Simmons is
but that was 40 years ago, though. That was 30 years ago.
Guys.
LeBron plays point guard. If you want to think about it.
Yeah, he's 6'8", 6'9".
And also,
LeBron is the outlier.
The way that AAU in high school is going is that they have a lot of these guys who, and maybe it's an indictment on it, but they don't have the coaching or the focus on developing players who are 6'9" as proper small forwards, right? And some of these places where these guys have been playing point guards all their lives, right?
And then they got bigger.
They're just like, all right, we just want to showcase as much as possible. We're just trying to make money and get to the best school, whatever, right? Versus let's work on your skills. Maybe your stats might dip, but it'll make you a better player in the long run and one that fits in your position. So
plus he grew like 3 inches last year. Like this is like he's still getting used to his new height for real.
Right.
Yeah, and he's just turned 19, so realistically he could get another inch. By 21, 22, he could be 6'9".
Somebody says Ben Simmons is a point center.
That's hilarious.
He needs to learn how to shoot.
What's up, David? Everything was good. It was good with you.
To gain weight. He's only like, I think, 180, like 6'7" and a quarter at 180. That's too skinny. He needs to be close to 200 pounds. If he's going to last in this league.
Ideally, somebody 6'7" that's going to play a professional sport, you need for them to be about 210. You know what I'm saying? Something like that.
Carol Lewis, when I was doing a video, I think at the beginning of the season was 165. Like, you're not going to be able to survive at 165. Terrell Terry, 160.
They try to say he gained like 15 pounds, though.
Which one, Terrell Terry?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about Carol Lewis, though. How much I'm assuming he's gained something.
Terry did. I was watching videos of Terry. Terry put on a lot of weight, and he's leaping. He can dunk now. Like the kid they were saying he was before, he was dunking and shit. Like to me, he's going to be a good prospect. He's going to be like a Trae Young, but you got to give him 2 or 3 years. And he'd be somebody I definitely take if we draft. I
just got a feeling the Knicks is going to mess up this pick. I don't know why.
Well, all right. What are your 3 picks that if they Knicks pick them, right, you're fine with them, no matter what. If they pick these 3 guys,
you mean at 8 or altogether?
At 8.
You mean at 8 or altogether?
3 picks at 8 that where if the Knicks pick them, you're like, I'm good with this. They can't lose with these guys. And realistic, not like Anthony Edwards felt. I'm talking about realistic.
Yeah.
8s.
For me, it'd be Killian Hayes, Obi, and Vassell. I'd be happy with that. One of them 3.
Obi. Oh my gosh, you guys. Ooh.
I want to hear somebody say the one I hate. So I ain't gonna say mine yet. I just want to hear somebody drop his name so I can get mad.
So
it sounds like you're already mad.
I got a feeling we're gonna get Okoro and it's gonna piss me off.
Well, you gonna say Okoro?
I don't like Okoro at all. Every time I watch his highlights, it pisses me off. Like, what did they see? Oh, he has an NBA body. Okay. I watch him shoot and it makes me so mad. Like, no way.
I thought the shot was okay. It was kind of like
that's going to be the pick. I feel Okoro's the pick because he fits. He's a Tom Thibodeau guy. He's going to want to use him like Jimmy Butler.
Okoro scares me. Okoro scares me. Like I said, the Stanley Johnsons, Justice Winslow, man.
Exactly.
There's so many of those guys that they can't shoot, but everyone projects him as this defensive guy who's going to be able to learn how to shoot. And some of those guys never progress, man. Stanley Johnson and Winslow, I don't think they're on their original teams anymore. Like, Josh Back, the same thing. I was taking 3rd, and he's freaking on the Grizzlies. He was on the Grizzlies G League, but I think he's on a actual roster now. But the dude is an afterthought.
Who wins?
Right.
I want the Cavs to make that mistake. Please take him. Please take him.
And then look, you have to go to right the other system. You went to the Spurs like Kawhi, that's one thing, but there are not many or teams like the Spurs that develop diamond in the rough type of players and get the most. I mean, they got production of Patty Mills, a guy who was playing in Australia at one point.
Right.
Yeah.
Like dogs. Everyone's that's the thing I hate is like they pull these pressures.
They got
Kawhi, and if he doesn't develop, say it again.
You remember they get production out of guys. San Antonio is to me is the outlier. Like they're far and away better than everybody else at development because they took a dude named Tiago Splitter and had him starting in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They took a fat point guard off the Atlanta Hawks team, off the Atlanta Hawks bench, and turned him into a power forward for them in the finals. What's his name? I just said Boris Diaw. When Boris Diaw was a fat power point guard for the Atlanta Hawks, it was like, hey, this dude can pass, we'll bring him here and develop him. And they brought him there and they developed him. You know what I mean?
So, to answer your question, Guillermo, I need Vassell, Kira, or Pat Williams.
Oh,
I'm not mad.
Pat Williams,
Patrick Williams, man. Hold on,
hey, he's youngest in the draft. He's literally like I see him as a project. Don't get me wrong. I don't see him. He's off the bench guy.
What the F do people say?
Yes, he's off the bench. He didn't even start for Florida State. He came off the bench for Florida State.
He's super raw too, right? And I see Detroit.
You gotta watch the highlights. You gotta watch the highlights.
Yeah, but
Everybody's
I've watched FSU games. Maybe it's the system. I don't know what it is, but I watched him and I wasn't thoroughly impressed. And then when I saw him go 8, that was from mockdraft.net when they didn't update it. I'm like, all right, maybe it could be updated. Then I went back and I'm like, how the hell is Patrick Williams going up these boards, man? I don't see it. Thank you. Jay Deal said it right. Williams is overrated. I don't see how people are rating this guy. Even if you want to say overrated people, I don't see Patrick Williams as this guy. I wish he would have stayed in school one more year.
He does need one more year.
In the draft, obviously, you're going to get overrated and probably draft a lot higher, but next year's draft is going to be a lot tougher. So I get it, but I don't see it. I don't see it with Patrick Williams, man.
See, I feel the same about Kira. A lot of people are high on Kira. I just don't see it.
You got to talk closer to your thing, man. Yo, good night to Marquise Walker, man. Stay up, bro. Salute to Marquise Walker, man. That's my guy, man.
That's the fan right there.
I feel the same.
Yeah, man. Hey, so just real quick, make sure y'all subscribe to Marquis Walker channel. Subscribe to Legion of Knicks podcast. We got to get him to 1,000 likes before the end of the year. Subscribe to Lawrence Tears, man. We're trying to get up to at least like 800 subscribers by the end of the year so that we can keep providing content like this for all you crazy Knicks head night owls, goons, all of y'all, man. Y'all crazy. This love for the Knicks is crazy, and I'm right there with y'all, man. Make sure y'all support these channels, man, so that we can keep bringing y'all with exactly what y'all want. Hey, so Teddy, I was trying to get to it, and we keep dodging it. You said something crazy is gonna happen in the top 3, right? You have a feeling, right?
Yeah.
I don't see that feeling anywhere else. What makes you think that a team is gonna draft a guy outside of the top 3, inside of the top 3?
I think it's
I'm talking about, is it team makeup? Is it contracts? Is it style of play? Is it roster?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why. I think we're taking for granted the fans not coming to these games this season, and a lot of teams are thinking about their money real hard right now. All these extra big contracts that's on these books. I think there's gonna be a team that jumps up that wants to make a crazy trade for one of these top 3 guys just to have a lower contract but get rid of a big contract. And I think Charlotte would be the one to jump on it, in my opinion.
You don't know what Jordan's gonna do.
That's the problem.
Jordan could take fucking Okoro with the 3rd pick. Like, you never know.
Right.
Look at all that. Golden State really have the luxury. Golden State really doesn't have the money to make any, like, they got the 3 pieces already. And then they added Wiggins to their books. They really don't got a room for a top 3 signing pick, honestly. Unless they get rid of Wiggins somehow.
I think they're trying to package.
But why would you get rid of Wiggins for a player in this draft? I think Nick Wiggins would be the number 1 pick in this draft.
The pay would be lower.
Okay.
He's on like 28 million, so they're trying to dump his contract. Because
they're gonna try to dump it, and somebody's gonna take it, and we'll probably be the dummies to take it.
Yeah. Golden State next year want to make a run at Giannis, so they want to have the money on the books. Same with Toronto. That's why I think Toronto's going to lose Van Vliet, because they're going to look and say, like, okay, we want to have the money for Giannis.
So speaking of Giannis, I saw an article earlier on Bleacher Report, and I don't know how accurate it is as far as the details, but I saw an article that says trading for or acquiring Russell Westbrook is a signal to Giannis that we can, he's welcome to come to New York.
I don't want to hear that. I went through enough with Katie and Kyrie. I don't want to go through this again.
But you never had a superstar. You never had a superstar when you did it. What was your superstar name?
Russell Westbrook's not a superstar. Like Giannis, look, I don't know what's going through Giannis' head. Giannis may be saying the nicest things to make it seem like, yeah, he's a team guy, whatever. We have no idea what he's doing. I think that he's playing it close to the chest, which is smart, right? But getting Russell Westbrook is not. I think players know that Russell Westbrook is what he is, a ultra talented player, but just doesn't have it together mentally. Getting him does not, I don't think, bring us closer to Giannis, because you get a guy like Westbrook on the Knicks, Giannis, Knicks, and whatever our draft pick is still not better than that Bucks team. I'm just sorry. I just think that is reaching with the Giannis story. It's like, we don't have no idea what the hell Giannis wants to do, man. But right. Yeah, Westbrook.
I think Giannis is going to Miami. Either that or the Lakers.
Yeah, but Anthony, isn't it that so that Davis could get the contract?
Anthony Davis.
Him opting out.
Yeah, he opted out of his player contract. I don't know what that means. I think the Knicks are good. The Knicks obviously going to make an offer, but
yeah, they can make an offer. But I thought it was so he could get a bigger contract from the Lakers.
Yeah, that's why he rejected it for a bigger contract. Like he's going to get offers from teams, but I think he's going for the Lakers. But the Lakers too want to worry about money, because I think they want to make a run at Giannis. So what the Lakers are going to do then is probably re-sign Anthony Davis, and then LeBron James is going to be a free agent as well. And he has a player option. He's going to opt out, take less money. So you're going to have Giannis, AD, and LeBron. And then the league is over.
I can't see Giannis playing. Look,
I can't see it either.
Given what I just said, I still can't see Giannis playing with the Lakers, man. I can't see him playing with LeBron James. AD is doing that because, he's just not that type of leader, even though he has a ridiculous talent. But I think that Giannis wants to become eventually a LeBron killer, man, like a LeBron slayer. I just can't see him taking that deal with the Lakers, man.
Miami,
man.
With LeBron.
Miami.
Hey, I gotta stop and say something, Ralph. Ralph, that Kyrie take had to be the biggest pipe dream I've heard.
Well,
the Giannis stuff, but that Kyrie one yesterday was hilarious. And then shout out to my boy Goddard Moses.
Yeah, he said yesterday.
Yeah. Shout out to Raphael
we're going to trade for Kyrie.
Wait, sorry. What did he say about Kyrie earlier?
He said if James Harden goes to the Nets, that Kyrie will be available.
No,
if James Harden goes to the Nets, Kyrie will be available.
I think that's
not sure about that.
Nah,
it's not
going to happen together yet. They haven't played together yet.
That's Kyrie's team for real.
Right, Kyrie is their Svengali. He is the whisperer of KD, and I'm just pissed about this Harden thing, man.
Can
we admit?
Hey, let me finish this up before y'all jump, because we jump to another. Let me but I just want to finish up the Giannis thing. It's feasible for the Knicks to trade for Russell Westbrook and take on the max contract of a Giannis Antetokounmpo and sign veterans to go along with the rookie contracts they already have on the books.
They have the space. Yeah, they have over $40 million next year. This year, but in theory, we have $100 million in space, because the only two contracts we want to keep, and the cornerstones are RJ and Mitch. So anybody else on the roster can go. Mitch has to get paid though next year. My worry is if we don't start competing, Mitch isn't going to re-sign.
But the thing about, I can't hear you. But you're missing the point there. The point is, once you sign Giannis and you're veteran, you can go over the cap to re-sign RJ and Mitch.
Yeah,
because you have their bird rights. What I'm saying is the $100 million is available to you to put a team together and still keep the cornerstone pieces. I'm not saying that's the way to go. I'm just saying if we think long term, think of cap flexibility and asset flexibility, we have the flexibility to do a lot of different things. We're not just painted into that corner of $42 million, and that's a hell of a corner to be painted into too, where you only have $42 million in cap space, because most teams don't have cap space at all. But with the Knicks, though, we have super flexibility. I mean, can you legit see turn on the fan base? Hey, we couldn't sign Giannis because we wanted to keep Dennis Smith Jr. for 7 years. I mean, for 3 years, 21 mil.
That would never happen.
No, he's gone out.
You know what I'm saying? You legit can't go to the fan base and say, well, Kenny Wooten's contract stopped us from getting Giannis Antetokounmpo. No. I mean, we have that.
I want to be real.
I see the pitch there that the Knicks were talking about signing Giannis, or like free agent signing Giannis's two brothers to get him here. Because he's one with the Lakers.
Art. I know you'd rather have Anthony Davis, but Anthony Davis has said out of his own mouth that he's re-signing with the Lakers.
Yeah,
he said Lakers for life.
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He's LeBron.
He said that, bro.
He don't win a championship there. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he ain't trying to establish nothing on his own. We already know that.
And he can be the mega beta that he is. He can be himself with LeBron.
Yes, he can. Yes, he could be. Yep. Hey, even though I'm probably the most dominant player on the team, but let me give it to LeBron so he's happy and get the fuck out.
Right. It's the same thing. It's the same thing KD did with Kyrie. Like KD signed with Brooklyn so he could be the ultimate beta. Like he looks like an alpha until it's time for him to show himself be a beta.
KD is the best natural talent, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says. But mentally, no.
No, he's soft. Like people to be talking Kyrie, one of the top 20 players in the game. I'm like, but look, he left OKC. He had to join up with a championship team that won a championship before him to win a title. Kyrie wouldn't have won nothing without LeBron. So you basically like, what have these guys done? So
how do you say Anthony Davis is not beta when he said it himself? He was like, "Yo, he said in New Orleans, yo, I'm still getting used to this. I'm naturally shy. This ain't my bag." That's Anthony Davis' words.
I would say Anthony Davis is less beta than KD. But again, to me, teaming up with LeBron when you are a superstar level talent, say what you want. AD is a superstar level player. And he went to go team up with LeBron James. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's tough for me. I wouldn't call a beta like KD, but he does have a beta mentality, man.
See, that's what I hate is like the Lakers were rebuilding, and then when they got LeBron a free agent, they said scrap rebuilding and went and got an AD and won a championship. The Nets more or less kind of rebuild through second round picks, and then went and got KD and Kyrie, and I'm like,
yo, Oots is asking for the link, by the way. Sorry to cut you off. He said, do we live in a hole?
Hey, he tripping.
I think he's asking for the link. Let Oots come up here so he can prove himself wrong, man.
And I don't want us to be disappointed if we don't get nobody in free agency this year. We just got the same team with just draft picks. I don't want no disappointment from the New York Knicks because all the rumors that have been coming out, I won't be surprised if we don't get anybody of any substance. This whole Westbrook stuff is killing me.
It is. Same here.
Yeah, and he's not going to.
You said the Westbrook stuff is killing you?
You know who I'd rather? Yeah, it's kind of. I would rather go for Bradley Beal if they talk. Bradley Beal go everywhere but the Knicks. I'd rather have someone like that than.
You're gonna have to give up a lot though for Bradley Beal.
And Bradley Beal don't play point guard, man.
Yeah, Westbrook.
Bradley Beal don't play point guard.
Like Houston are gonna have to use Westbrook as a salary dump because they have no leverage. You have a 32-year-old that's in a bad contract that wants out, no leverage at all.
Could we get Drew Holiday?
Right.
Could we get
Drew Holiday's going to contender?
Yeah.
Drew Holiday and Chris Paul. Drew Holiday and Chris Paul are going. You can cross them out.
You don't see Westbrook going to 76ers then if Harden goes to the Brooklyn?
Hell no, I don't think so. No, I don't think they're going
to. And so to the Westbrook rumor. So the Westbrook thing is this. The Knicks feel like trading up in the draft to get LaMelo is too much to risk in a draft that doesn't
Absolutely.
have a bona fide superstar. So we
Right.
keep saying trade RJ in the 8 pick, trade Mitch in the 8 pick to trade up to 2 or 1 or 3 to get LaMelo. And LaMelo in this draft is not a bona fide superstar. He's not Zion. You know what I'm saying? If we were talking about trading to get Zion, then the Knicks will probably be all systems go. But like what Guillermo said, LaMelo didn't even dominate in the league halfway around the world. You know what I'm saying? With a whole bunch of NBA rejects. The dude shot 32% from the field and 25% from 3. His only saving grace was that he shot, I think he shot like 70% from the free throw line. So that holds out hope that he could potentially become a shooter. You know what I'm saying? But to trade up assets to get LaMelo, I think it's too risky.
Would y'all be upset with Halliburton? Would y'all be upset with Halliburton?
No. Man, I gotta say, hey,
he's an
why we gotta say this every single If the Knicks draft Halliburton, I'm jumping my fat ass out of a plate glass window, like the old movies. No, I'm telling you, Teddy. Listen, you gotta have a plate.
Hey guys, LaMelo won Rookie of the Year to NBL. Okay. He's been on it. All right, good. Yeah, because the NBL's a joke. I thought you guys trying to say how good the NBL. Oh, like how good that was. My bad.
No, the NBL is a little bit better than college, but it's way down below from the NBA. And then he was on a bad team, so he was gifted the keys.
He was so bad he ended up buying the team when he left.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
That's what I mean. We don't even know if he even bought that Rookie of the Year. Basically, like use his influence to you know.
Well, somebody said that all his teams basically did everything to build up his stats, which is not a good sign, man. Which is not a
especially when his stats were terrible. Especially when those stats that they beefed up were terrible. I mean, come on, man. I mean, we legit right now have young point guards that can't figure it out. And if you trade assets to get a young point guard that can't figure it out, basically we hustle backward.
I feel like it's only Kira or Vasil I want for real, man. I was thinking about my 3rd pick. I can't even think for real.
I want no part of Kira.
Man. If Woodshed 1914 don't stop trolling, Woodshed 1914 is trolling, y'all. Where's the troll? And where's the button where you boot trolls out? Talk about Team Halliburton, man. Oh my, are you serious?
Hey, you know what? I was sold on him like 3 months ago, and then I started figuring out all these other players. Like, I was like, ooh, Kira. I came across Kira. It was over from there for real. I said, Kira, somebody need to jump on him.
I don't think Kira's going to last in the NBA. I think he'd be a good backup player or role player. He's not going to be a star.
Man, I disagree.
So I want to get my take in the first hour. That way, if y'all prove me wrong, y'all have time to kind of throw me to the wolves. So I think the Knicks fix this offseason is trade for Westbrook before the draft, right? Get a wing player at number 8, Devin Vassell, Aaron Neesmith, somebody like that at 8, right?
Okay.
Take on Gordon Hayward's contract from the Celtics. Maybe get 26, 30, and one of their bench players. Maybe a Sidney Ojale or a Romeo Langford.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
With those picks at the back end of the first round, get your choices of your 3 choices of Jaden McDaniels, Zeke Naji, Desmond Bain, Tyler Bay, Jamias Ramsey, Cassius Winston, whoever's the best player with those 3 picks. And then when free agency starts on Friday, go hard after Jeremy Grant. And I know I think the asking price is going to be like 3 years, 18 mil, right? Or Christian Wood, 3 years, 36 mil, 3 years, 39 mil, right? Somewhere in there. Just go hard after a guy. And then if you have to trade Julius Randle, you don't have to trade him at the draft. You can trade Julius Randle in the open market once teams swing and miss on free agents and realize that they have cap space and still have a glaring need, but don't have the room to go out and sign free agents. Because places like the Utah Jazz are not going to be able to attract free agents. So then you go to him after the draft and say, "Hey, give me Julius for your 2025 first round pick."
No,
So
but Freezy, you're gonna have to. Randall will be already gone. Randall, you have to go in that Westbrook trade, make the money work.
Do you? Yeah, I about to say. Do you see Julius? Do you see Julius starting the season in New York?
No, if we go for Westbrook.
No. Listen, in the Westbrook, in a trade for Westbrook, you don't have to make the money work with Houston. Houston can send the money to us. We can absorb money, and once we decline contracts, we can send it, or we can send it to Houston. That same dead money, the same player, team option contracts to Houston, and they can keep who they want or waive who they want. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have to take on like we don't have to match dollar for dollar. We don't have to do that. We can give Houston options.
But then how are you going to get into Gordon Hayward's contract? Because if you get Westbrook and you still have Randall on the roster, you're going to have about $10 million. That's why you have to move Randall in that deal to at least make half cap space around 25 mil. So Randall
you don't have you don't have to do. You're assuming that we keep the players that are on contracts past this year.
Oh no, that's what I.
Past this year.
Yeah,
so
but
so in that scenario that you mentioned, you're assuming that we have to keep Frank Ntilikina. We don't have to keep Frank. We don't have to keep DSJ. We don't have to keep Knox. We don't have to keep any of them guys. We can include them in trades, whether it's the Russell Westbrook trade or the Gordon Hayward trade.
I keep Knox and I trade Frank for Westbrook. That's what I use as a package for Westbrook. I throw in Frank.
Right, but those contracts. But my point was those contracts are assets. You don't look at those. You don't look at those contracts as players that'll be an immediate part of the future. If you're trading for Gordon Hayward and signing Jeremy Grant or Christian Wood, you know what I'm saying? If you sign those guys are young enough to be with your team, say for the next 3 years with Westbrook, as you build slowly through the draft, but bring in young veterans to complement your aging point guard Russell Westbrook.
I wouldn't touch Gordon Hayward. I don't want even for a year. I wouldn't. He's not worth the picks.
I have to agree. That Gordon Hayward one is the one that's the wild card for me.
33 million, 30 million, 33 million.
Yeah, that's him and Westbrook's
34.
Money. Him and Westbrook, like you're 47 or 44 on Westbrook and 34 on Hayward. That's too much money. We're gonna have nothing left then. So the thing is, you get Westbrook and you put shooters around him.
I don't get y'all. I think y'all are missing what I'm saying. Like the thing is, so Russell Westbrook is at what 41 mil this year,
40,
right?
44,
and then
44,
you have
I think.
40, so 44 mil, right? And Gordon Hayward is 34 million, right? So that's 78 million. When you count Mitch and RJ, that'll bring you to 87 million. That gives you $23 million to make out the rest of your roster. Can you sign Jeremy Grant to a contract with less than 23 million a year? Yes.
Yeah.
You can sign Jeremy Grant to 3 years, 18 million apiece.
But you need the money to fill out the rest of the roster. What I want to do is, if I can get in Westbrook, I want to put shooters around them. You get Bertans, get Harris, get Bogdanovich, get shooters around them. 3-year deals, and
none of the dudes you mentioned are going to play an ounce of defense. Like, for instance, at 8, I would value a Devin Vassell more than I value a Joe Harris. And I know y'all are going to say we're crazy for doing it, but I'm saying in the context of the team I put together, I think a 3-and-D guy from Go brings more to your team than a guy that's just 3. Right. But you know what I'm saying? Because Bertans had never been a starter, and y'all want to pay him money to come to New York to start?
The guy was what about Joe Harris? 44% from 9 attempts a game. He's rocking 3. He can hit threes from anywhere. That's what you need. 3-point shooter.
So you want to pay him the 18 mil as opposed to Jeremy Grant, who's going to shoot 40% from 3 and play elite level defense.
Yeah, but not enough of volume. He only shoots maybe.
I gotta agree with you, Joe. I like Jeremy Grant better, only because of what I've seen in the playoffs this year. He's grown so much, and he ended up being like their best defender too. Like he was guarding the best players on opposite teams too. Like
Yeah,
I mean,
Vassell is way better than Harris, by the way. And who was chucking Bertans?
Me.
Yeah, Bertan. Hey, chucking is not the term when you're making it. Chucking only applies when you miss.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
But also
Bertans is a maker.
that team was how many games under 500 and didn't make the playoffs? So I mean, they were in 10th. Right?
I want Kelly Oubre. If you want to ask, if we talk about picking up somebody, I like Kelly Oubre.
He's not leaving because they're not letting him.
They're not letting him go. They're not.
And the scenario I mentioned is us being open to using all of our assets. You don't have to go down the same road I went to acquire players. I use that basically as an extreme to let you know what you could get for the assets that you have available. Like you can legit get Westbrook, Gordon Hayward, and Jeremy Grant all this offseason. You can legit do that. If you want to keep Mitch and RJ, all you have to do is fill in the rest with the draft picks that you acquired in those trades and veteran minimums.
It's not going to be in the same start of this season.
So what are you saying? What are you saying? Like a starting lineup of Westbrook, RJ, Hayward, Grant,
Gordon Hayward,
Robinson.
Yeah, he said that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, does this think about this? Does this starting lineup get you to the playoffs? Russell Westbrook, RJ Barrett, Gordon Hayward, Jeremy Grant, Mitchell Robinson. Does that get you to the playoffs?
Yes.
So is that a success?
See, I'm not a Hayward fan.
We just hope Hayward can stay healthy the whole year.
That very rarely happens. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, but you know what though? If the thing with Hayward doesn't work, guess what you can do? You can either trade his expiring contract during the season up until the trade deadline. You can trade that expiring contract, or you can let him walk in free agency the following summer and sign a free agent and a rich free agent class to replace him.
Now, put like this.
I'm confused.
A guy like Gordon Hayward, if he has an impact that gets us close to the playoffs, right? You know, do we trade him if it's like we're gonna sniff the playoffs, but we're gonna ultimately get wiped out because he's not a long-term plan, right? If you do that, you want to get as much assets from as possible, right? Dupe some other team to think that he's still that type of player, right?
Exactly.
So it's not. I'm not sure if it's just about getting to the playoffs. It's about, you know, what value does he serve the team? And people say, people want to tank. It's not about tanking. It's the fact that you have an expiring contract for a guy who is often injured, right? Gordon Hayward. It's not the same Gordon Hayward coming from Utah when he first came in Utah to the Celtics. This is Gordon Hayward who had two brutal injuries. And you see he looked heavier. He's moving a little slower. He's just not the same. So
to me, what you got to
treat him as people might kill me unless you are sniffing the Eastern Conference Finals. This Knicks team came out of nowhere and we're sniffing the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know. I think you might have to trade Gordon Hayward by the end of near the trade deadline.
What are we getting?
Right.
What are we getting to take on his contract? What picks?
You're getting draft picks and the young players. You either get 14 and 26, or you get 26, 30 and a young player like a Romeo Langford or a Semi Ojeleye or something like that.
I think Boston will give you maybe 26 and 30. I think they're trying to use 14 and maybe their second round picks to move up. They're looking to try and get an Echo Kong, or as I said, possibly Obi Toppin. So I think Boston are going to do that because they're going to want to move up in this draft. So to me, if you get the 30th pick, but I don't know if that's enough.
I'm not going to lie. If we end up getting Gordon Hayward, I'm going to say you really talked this up, Freezy, because I definitely didn't see this coming.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the most important thing about that. So you get Gordon Hayward to fill in cap space that you're not going to use to get a quality free agent, because no free agent is coming here, right? I just want to establish that. So instead of pursuing guys and breaking hearts all summer, you fill it with Gordon Hayward, who is valuable in an expiring contract alone. Just the fact that he's an expiring contract is enough to get us another first round pick. You know what I'm saying?
But Oots, take it this way, man. Gordon Hayward's on a long-term contract, and you have to use that money. If you don't get anyone else, why not take that expiring contract and then trade it for assets later? Why not?
Right.
How does it hurt you? You know what I mean? Like if you said you're losing it.
Right.
Mean,
right. What do y'all want to do?
I'm not saying Gordon Hayward's something to build around.
Hayward?
Guys, we have to, as a Knicks team that's trying to rebuild, you also have to think about, all right, if we have to get as many assets as possible. If we can't get the so-called free that we want, that's going to take us to the next level, that's going to be here for a few years, at least 2 years, then why wouldn't Gordon Hayward as an option to bring him on? He takes him to the cap space and you trade him for assets later on when we could take on the contract. Like,
what's the plan for Knox? I keep hearing all these. What's the plan for Knox?
Honestly. I want to keep.
Wait. Let me finish the Hayward thing. I know. So the Hayward thing is if you get him and he produces, right? And say we're at the All-Star break. Say we're something like 25-16 at the All-Star break, right? So that means we're probably the 5th or 6th seed. So now you keep Hayward and you make a playoff push to improve your seeding. Man, listen. So you go, say you're the 5th seed in the East, and you go up against the Sixers. I like my chances. We may not win. But for the first time in a long time, the Knicks are the 5th seed in the East. Right? Say we bring on Gordon Hayward and we're 16-25. Right? But we're not going to make the playoffs. But we're not in the playoffs. Now you take Gordon Hayward's contract to a team that it will be a player in free agency. Say a Miami Heat who is looking to clear space for Giannis. Now you can go, hey, y'all want Gordon Hayward before us? Here he is. He's on an expiring contract. This helps you clear up cap space. Give us some first round picks, and it's a done deal because they are in hot pursuit of Giannis. You know what I'm saying? Or you can send Gordon Hayward to Milwaukee for some draft picks or whatever, so they can sign a player to go with Giannis.
Okay.
But the flip side of that is to not get Gordon Hayward and keep Bobby Portis, Wayne Ellington, Taj Gibson, Reggie Bullock, and run it back.
No, what you do is send them expiring contracts to Houston for Westbrook. That's what's going to happen. You're going to get them guys. You're going to move them guys on for Westbrook, so then Houston can dump them and have the cap space.
Said no Hayward worse than Westbrook.
I wouldn't take Hayward. I'd want to have. My thing could be Westbrook at the 1, Malik Beasley at the 2, RJ at the 3, maybe Jerry B. Grant at the 4, and Mitch at the 5.
Hey, do we even know if Malik Beasley gonna be available this season? Like he got a case on him.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, would you try to sign him to a restricted free agent deal?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We could probably get him for the low right now because boy, he may not see freedom this year.
You just gotta see where his head is at, man. Because I don't want a Kevin Porter Jr. on a team.
Hey, so here's the thing with Malik Beasley, man. I think we have like the Florida State fascination. What has Malik Beasley done over an extended period of time where we feel
like talked about this before? He was on the Nuggets with a whole bunch of offensive talent. Never had time to play. Got hurt and got traded because
got traded and started balling that once he got playing time. And the guy's only 20.
Right, and so y'all think that's going to equate to him balling out in New York?
He could, He's a young talent.
I think he could be productive offensively in New York. I didn't say he's going to ball out, but he fits a need. We need a scoring guard. We need a guy who can shoot and space the floor. Even though he has he kicks out his feet when he shoots. But still.
Hey, what's good, Danny Landis? What's good? Yeah, and I'm not opposed to Malik Beasley. What I'm opposed to is us throwing money for the sake of throwing it. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I don't want Van Fleet. I hope we don't get him.
Believe me, you'll get Malik Beasley on the cheap. You could get.
He's already under contract.
Yeah, but if the Timberwolves draft Anthony Edwards, they're going to get Beasley go because they play the same position, and Beasley's not going to want to sit on the bench. So if they get Edwards, Beasley will walk, and I think you can get him for about 12 mil a year.
That's interesting.
You could sign him, 3 years.
12 million
or 10. 10 to 12.
Maybe, and this is a press market. Yeah, I would definitely try to look for 10, especially given how that situation. But that means, all right, you have a Malik Beasley. Your two guard is filled. Are we getting him before or after the draft? Well, probably
Yeah,
after the
after.
draft. So
No,
that means that we didn't get a scoring two guard.
Yeah, that's opening up a free
Yeah.
agency. You got him on the was it the 22nd, right? Or the
22nd, you can sign players.
Yeah. Oh, so it's the 19th
Yeah.
free agency opens. Yeah, I would try and get him. And then if you can get Westbrook in a trade, you have him and Westbrook at the backcourt. You put RJ and Jeremy Grant at front, and then you have Mitch in the center. That's still young enough team when you have, and then your guys in the bench. You keep Knox. Knox, I want to see what Knox is able to do, because I think that guy is potentially just needs to be developed. So I want to see what some of the young guys.
Knox, Frank DSJ. They have until the deadline to show me something.
Yeah.
Because especially, and I know Frank DSJ probably more so, but Knox too, man. Because if we're bringing on guards, all these Knox got to show me something before the trade deadline. Because if I get asses for him and flip him, because if he doesn't get about a trade deadline, I don't know when he ever will. Well, he's going to show another strong half in a shitty season. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Right.
But look, these guys had 9 months off to think about it and see, okay, what can I do to get better?
Hey, some of these guys are playing Fortnite, bro. So
yeah,
I'm exaggerating. I'm picking fun at because me and Sim were arguing about it a few weeks ago. But it's like
true.
It's like when you suck when you're in a team that sucks that badly. I mean, I would think that you were going hard in the gym 24/7. I know the optics and stuff. Or I mean, I'm sorry, I know that's not realistic, but just the optics of you doing that, I think, says something to you and to your team that, damn, all right, this kid is serious. He's trying to take it to the next level. Because
you think the long off season is going to help this team?
I think
but hey, to Guillermo's point though, I told this lady that I had lost 120 pounds, right? And then she saw me at KFC picking up something for my wife. And she's like, well, how you going to keep losing weight? How you losing weight and you eating at KFC? And I'm like, man, I'm not really eating at KFC. I'm picking up the KFC for somebody else. And she's like, yeah. You telling people you lost all that weight and you eating at KFC. It's the same thing with Knox, to Guillermo's point. Like, how you going to tell people you improving and we see you anytime we see you in limited capacity, it's on Fortnite. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you know when you see Knox doing this Fortnite bag, it's like, dog, the only time we see you, you know what I'm saying, you on Fortnite, but you supposed to be our lottery pick and supposed to be improving. So I mean, I get what he's saying.
It's just the
I get what
if you're on a shitty team, bro, just don't be on Fortnite. It just don't film yourself on Fortnite. You could play Fortnite. I don't give a damn what you do when you have, but don't film because people, again, the media and then that extra pressure. And I know people be like, oh, but they're human. It's like, dogs, you're an NBA player. There's a certain level of production that we look forward to as a, what was he, 8th? No, not 8th. He was 10th. Whatever the hell he's picked. 8th. Guy, you can't be this unproductive on such a shitty team because that means the opportunity is there for you to be a leader and dominate or at least show us something. Like these guys are underachieved. That's why you give me the percentiles, all these little advanced statistics on RJ Barrett, which I still think is bullshit because he's a rookie. But if you're showing me that you have a inclination, right? You want to be aggressive and get better and you know what I mean? You're pushing the envelope in your rookie season. I love that, man. I've heard Knox.
Kevin Knox was 9. I'm sorry. Kevin Knox was 9. I'm sorry.
I've heard about RJ getting a shooting coach. You heard about RJ speaking to Allen Houston, but I've never heard this stuff about Knox doing this stuff.
We brought in his coach. That's what we did for him.
And all this stuff just to get what? What production do you expect to get out of Knox where it justifies all this shit? That's what I'm talking about. Players who are inefficient. You know, when we're talking about, I'm not trying to go back to Naismith, but this is my issue with Naismith. Is like you have to put all this stuff into making him productive. That makes the whole system kind of inefficient, right? The least amount you have to put into something to get a certain amount of production, that's how efficient it is, right? I get 5. I give you 5 shots. I'll get however many points, 5, so 10, right? 10 points. I made all my shots, right? That means I'm shooting 100%, right? But 100% twos, whatever. But if I have to do all this shit to get the most out of Knox, do all this shit to get, it's like dogs. Like this how does this help my team if you have to exert all this shit and we're still not in the playoffs? I say I'm afraid about Knox. Everybody's talking about Knox, the ceiling. I'm like, I don't know what ceiling people see with Knox, bro.
Well, come here. When you see Knox was good, had potential in college. Now you see he has his college.
What if they run in college, sir? For Knox at Kentucky,
they run a lot of pick and roll. They run a lot of screens.
Use him a lot like a guard, right? If we don't have that system,
they kind of use them like a 2 guard.
Right. If you don't have that with the Knicks, he suffers. We saw it last year, right? And you're talking about a 6'9" guy has no post-up game, very linear when going to the basket. I'm just confused as to. And then Calipari told me it's going to take a few years. Take a few years for what? To see borderline average NBA production? I got just see that. Forget the points. I just want to see 9 points, 6 rebounds from Knox, or not that, but I mean, you know what I mean. I just want to see him defend better, rebound at a good clip, even if he's not scoring. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
You know, like some of these kids take time. Like they're not all going to come in and blossom in the first couple of years. Some of them are just Knox is a project.
Okay, but Joe Madden, when I saw Tracy McGrady play for Toronto, at least he was trying on defense. His offense wasn't there for like the first year or 2 years or whatever it was. But you saw with Tracy McGrady. You saw he's like, all right, this kid is hungry. He's making his mistakes. He's taking bad shots, but he's hungry. He's aggressive. You like that, right? And his defense, even if his feet weren't, he at least tried hard on defense. You saw with Tracy McGrady. You knew that it was going to be a matter of time between when him and Vince Carter, finally picked. But then they split, whatever. But with Knox, I don't know what people see in Knox. I'm confused. I think it's just because we picked him. We overdrafted him, and we have these lofty expectations. Same thing with Frank. You overdraft, and you have these lofty expectations, and they'll never come due.
See, I think it's hard for Knicks fans to say, do you know what? We failed out of 2 of our last 3 picks.
Right.
Like RJ is a hit, Mitch is a hit, but they're afraid to see like them go to another team and maybe work out, because that's what the history with the Knicks is. Let them go young talent and then developing on with somebody else.
It's the same shit happened with THJ.
Oh,
I'm sorry, my bad. I thought the same shit happened with THJ, Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yeah,
where he goes to a playoff team that has better talent, better coaching, better everything.
Right.
And people now it's this is what we gave him up, blah blah. But you didn't use him the same way. He's not the same. It's like totally different context.
How do you see Tibbs using Knox?
Hey, let me in the corner.
They're going to have to get in shape because Tibbs is going to kick their ass from the 1st of December onwards in practice.
I can see him turning into like a Luol Deng.
Maybe.
He got the length. He got the height. He can shoot threes.
He's going to sit on the bench, and whatever minutes he has to use them. Or he's going to be at the bottom of the bench with him like he was last year with DSJ. But that's the problem.
Yo, Simma Singh is in the building. What's up, Simma Singh? Hey, my bad. I had to shout out my guy. Simma Singh is in the building.
This guy can hype up anything, man.
I love it.
Hey, man, I can't help it. I ain't gonna be Uncle Freezy ain't gonna be like the stoic host, like chilling, waiting for cats to play. Hey, when y'all show up, I'll be excited to see y'all. You know what I'm saying? And y'all be excited to see me too. I hope. You know what I'm saying? And like when Teddy show up in the chat, I'm like, oh shit, here comes drama. He gonna be beefing with somebody in the chat. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I can't stand fake basketball fans. Like, hold on. Like, you be seeing some crazy stuff.
Right.
A lot of people play. A lot of people play 2K, bro.
So do y'all think Kevin Knox survives this week as a Knick?
That's a great question.
I think he survives this week. Him and Frank and DSJ, they're going to give them a shot, and if it's not improved by the deadline, then they're gone.
I hate to say it like this. I think Frank, Knox, RJ, and Mitch is part of the young core.
Here, I have a question for you guys. Would you guys give up Frank and Knox if that means getting Westbrook in here, then with the expiring contracts?
Like, talk a little bit louder, so I can't hear you. You said, would you?
Yeah, I was going to say, would you use Frank and Knox then in a deal to get Westbrook if you don't think they're going to blossom into anything?
I think we got enough expiring contracts not to have to use Frank and Kevin.
Well, I think you're going to have to use one of them. Just give them. They're going to want at least some young talent. Or
Yeah, DSJ.
give them a pick.
DSJ's going back to the
Do you
Knicks.
think?
I ain't gonna. Hey, like for what Woodshed's saying. Hey, in a Russell Westbrook deal, I think 2 or 3 of them kids might be gone. I think it might be. I think it might be DSJ, Knox, and either Frank or what I'm saying, Bullock, Ellington, something. But 2 or 3. Is that Bodega Wi-Fi? Bodega Wi-Fi in the building. Hey,
Wait, hold on. Big Freezy, hold up. There's 27 people watching, only 14 likes, man. Hit them likes, bro.
Yeah,
13 more
Yeah,
likes.
y'all smash that like button.
Hit that like button.
Grandpa's in the building. Tony Crow is in the building. Tony Crow was good.
Big Freezy gets his training from Arsenio Hall, man. This guy sounds just like Arsenio Hall, man.
Hey, when your dog's in the house, you gotta bark.
Do you think there's going to be any trades tomorrow, or most of the trades going to wait till after the draft?
I think the trades might happen before the draft because the draft is so uncertain.
Yeah.
I think that people do not want to lose out on any available players, so you might have a scramble. Woody Mack said he didn't get an introduction like that. He's kind of pissed, Big Freezy. He was asking for a link.
Hey.
Post a link in the chat so you can come on.
Art, Art gets something different. Art, that he got a lifetime contract, no paperwork. He can stroll in and out the chat as much as he please. I'm trying to work. I'm working on the Art and War podcast, Knicks podcast. I just got to get them 2 together. Art, he got a lifetime contract, no paperwork. You know that. Lifetime, no paperwork. You Art is like the Herb Williams of Knicks at Night. Art is like the Steve Mills of Knicks at Night.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
If we're gonna get Westbrook, who should be our starting point guard? That's a better question.
Oh, that's a tough question, man.
I almost gotta say DSJ. I want to see what a good coach could do with DSJ.
I don't know. DSJ was just one of them guys who had a good college and high school tape, and then when he makes it to the NBA, he doesn't do it. I think him and Malik Monk are the same. They were all hyped up. I think
if we got more space, then DSJ could actually ball up.
You want what?
Not a good.
We have more space, and I think DSJ would be a lot better.
If we had a lot of spacing, he can't. Or you mean to drive to get to the basket?
To drive.
Well, he's gonna suffer from the fact that he can't shoot, so people are just gonna back up off of him.
Mm-hmm.
He can't space the floor. He has a janky shot. He takes bad decisions, so you're not impressed.
He had an okay shot, and one of the Knicks coaches trained with him over a summer and made it worse.
He has a hitch in his shot, man.
Tell you, man, this long offseason is gonna be interesting for these teams.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. If you're a Knicks fan and you watch the Houston Rockets and the Brooklyn Nets get into this romantic dance that ends up with James Harden, Kyrie, and KD in Brooklyn, and on the back page of the paper, y'all say the Knicks' new starting point guard is DSJ, bro. I'm telling you, they will burn the garden to the ground. I'm telling you, dog.
I want Harden to go to the Nets. I want the Nets to give up the whole roster, as many picks as they can, and in about a year, when that shit blows up, they're screwed.
How funny would it be if we got Dinwiddie?
Because that's what I'm saying. Trade him to Houston.
How funny would it be?
Houston. Fuck Dinwiddie.
I know.
Hey, how funny would it be to watch Uncle Freed faint, pass out, have a heart attack if the starting backcourt is Dinwiddie and Tyrese Halliburton? Dog, I promise you. And then the Knicks fans will be like, well, if you don't like Halliburton and Dinwiddie, you got DSJ and Frank coming off the bench. Dog, I promise. Dog, I promise you. I promise this week right here. in less than 11 hours, Leon Rose gets carte blanche to do all the stuff that he's been planning for 8 months, right?
What happened in 11 hours?
It doesn't
I
happen.
want to see what
If he
they
comes
have
out the
planned
box with a, I
tomorrow.
just traded for Spencer Dinwiddie,
Hold on. What happens in 11 hours?
huh?
He thinks the Westbrook trade is happening today or tomorrow. Well, today.
Hold on, you can make trades today?
No, well,
Yeah.
At noon.
At 12 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, noon.
Oh shit.
Like you can announce, I guess you just can't sign it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
I thought the
about
Lakers said
Wednesday.
they intend to sign Schroeder, but it's essentially done.
Oh, y'all just made my week. I thought everything was happening Wednesday.
I want to see what Rose does.
Nah,
because
man,
to
I'm
have
telling
Tom
you,
Thibodeau's
Doc,
been
I'm
itching
telling
them to
you.
get good. Like,
Yo,
Thibodeau
and shout out to everybody in the
beat
chat for
Knicks
coming
playoff.
through with y'all comments, man. I appreciate y'all keeping the show going, man.
Oh man, they got some
Knicks
funny
at night.
comments. Hey,
Right.
I gotta give it to you. Free. This is a smart idea, man. Knicks at night.
Yeah.
It's only gonna blow up from here.
Well, hey, man, I'm just trying to feed my dogs. That's all I'm doing. I'm just feeding my dogs. That's all I'm doing, man. That's it. I'm just giving my dogs a platform to come on and eat. You know what I'm saying? That's it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it ain't like, it's not like, we going.
Oh, sorry about that. Yo, I gotta be out, man. I'm sleeping, but gotta wake up early tomorrow. But thank you. This was excellent. I was actually working, but I apologize for that. Next time I'll be a lot more engaged. But this is excellent, man. Keep doing Knicks at night. I'll be here. I'll be here, man. So
Kira Lewis Jr. Push the Kira Lewis Jr. video.
Say it again?
Put the link to Kira Lewis in the chat?
Oh, if you want me. Oh, yeah, sure. Why not? Well,
yeah.
Okay with you, man. I ain't trying to step on no damn toes in this. No shit like that.
And again, man, if y'all a fan of Knicks content and stuff, man, yo, get my man up to 1,000 likes. I'm trying to get up to 800 likes. You know, get
everybody up to 1,000 likes, man. Everybody up.
Right.
Marquise, just get everybody up to 1,000 likes. Even if you don't like rap, even if just like the freaking shit, subscribe, man. It costs you no money. It costs you no money. It's free. So like, subscribe, support, help out, man. It's not that hard.
And you'll see us, and we probably be doing a lot of collabs this week. So whatever time you jump on, you might see any number or collective of guys jumping together trying to support during this week right here. This is graduation week for us. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be news every day, and so it's gonna be opinions every day.
It was nothing for 9 months, and now all going to happen in about a week. It's going to be crazy.
But yo, salute to you guys, man.
Hey.
God bless. Joe Madden, man. Nice to meet you, man. You seem like a regular now, man. Like in terms of the video stuff, man. You very knowledgeable, Nick, man. So salute to you, bro.
Yeah, thanks, man. You too. All right, yeah. I'll keep up on the channel.
All right, man. Peace.
See you. All right, boss. Yeah, man. So the thing with this week here is that stuff is gonna start today, right? And y'all gonna hear a lot of rumors and stuff. A lot of people wanting to jump in, a lot of teams wanting to jump in and do stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is the Knicks will be a part of it for the first time in about 20 years. Like we'll at least have a shot at doing something.
Right.
You know what I mean? For the last whatever so amount of years, we hadn't had a shot at doing nothing because we've been hamstrung, whether it be no draft picks, no free agent in the cap space, no assets, any of that stuff. So this week right here, we'll be a major player because we have it all, more so than a lot of other teams in the league. So when the news start popping,
space, all that stuff. Like there's a lot of teams are well over the cap that are trying to get out of cap. The luxury caps.
That's all I was saying earlier. There's a lot of teams that can afford these players.
So that's why I think maybe tomorrow, once it starts coming in, we could be getting a lot of rumors, and there could be 1 or 2 contracts taken on. I'm hoping Westbrook is one of them.
Right.
I hope they come to a deal. If we have to throw them maybe like the 27 pick this year and like Frank and expiring deals, I'm good with that. But we need to get a winner in here, and it's not just even about winning. This is an entertainment business, and what's it like? It'd be just nice seeing us go into a game and know that there's a possibility of winning games every night. And knowing that we might have a shot at getting to the playoffs. And then we build from there. We need to get a game changer in, especially when supposedly the little brother down the road, they have all the superstars now.
Right.
And they're going to be a big player in this year. They're going to go deep. So we need to start making moves, because then now it's going to be, as you said on the paper, Brooklyn's at the front and we're at the back. We need to start going making moves. Like, I can't sit and rebuild for 4. Like, you can't guarantee a rebuild. A rebuild could go on for 10 years if it don't work out. The draft picks you have to hit on it.
So are y'all saying this Westbrook thing's a guarantee? I want to hear guarantees right now. Is it a guarantee?
I don't see it a guarantee, because I see Houston trying to get a little bit more out of it. But I think before the 22nd of December, the deal will be done. Because then Houston are going to be, or even at the beginning of free agency, because Houston are going to be desperate to get that cap off. And they're going to try and sign a couple of guys too with that money.
And with the season starting so fast, people are going to make a lot of quick moves.
Yeah. So
man.
For a lot of these players that are getting traded, that literally have a week to go to a new city, get living situations and shit. It's crazy, but
I got somebody that said guaranteed.
I think CP3 or Westbrook to the Knicks is guaranteed.
You think so?
My guy came in with the guarantee. Okay.
Yo, look who finally decided to show up. Where you been, dog?
I was in the chat. You saw me?
Yeah, I know you in the chat. I'm talking. People want to see your ass on live TV, dog. People don't want to see comments.
I didn't see the link. I tried scrolling up and I couldn't find the link.
I put the link in there 3 times, dog.
Well, I got the most recent one.
All right.
So I don't think CP3 is coming, but I definitely do think Russ is coming.
I hope
it's like a match made in heaven.
It's going to be an over and back between them and Houston, because Houston's going to try and get as much out of it. But then towards the middle of free agency, they're going to be desperate to get off the contract. To try and
the good thing right now is we're hearing like no teams are like kind of interested. So like Houston's going to be like pressed to like trade him. So what the Knicks are doing right now, like playing like they don't want him right now, is how you should be approaching it.
They're saying without giving up assets. Without giving up assets, they want him.
Mm-hmm.
Like Houston's going to try and get something, but then they're going to be like, they're going to start panicking because they're going to have that big money on the books and they can't make any moves because they know Harden's going to be gone too. So they're going to want to try and get Russ off first.
And most teams can't take.
They're going to try and make a free agent. If they get Russ off first and they have that $44 million, they're going to try and get a couple of free agents to keep Harden. But then Harden's going to go.
Yeah, most teams can't absorb that $41 million contract.
I think the Hornets are the only teams that can.
Yeah, and like I don't see Jordan making that move because like LaMelo Ball could like be at 3.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But if LaMelo's not there at 3, then I think they're going to go hard after Russ. Because remember, Russ is working for Jordan Shoe brand, so he wants to try and get Russ in the city with him in Charlotte. But
like
I don't know. I think Russ, if he,
I don't see it.
Yeah, like I don't see it because like who would they trade? Because like
it's in a smaller market. They're not gonna.
Yeah, like and like fans aren't like guaranteed to be at the game, so like selling tickets isn't like a factor.
See, I think the NBA is going to push this too, because having the Knicks relevant again is great for the money of the NBA. I'm surprised they never rigged the lottery for us to get the number 1 pick.
That's what I was surprised
with. The ratings. I was expecting that because with the money losses, when the Knicks are good, the NBA makes a ton of money.
Yep.
Nobody likes to own it though. And
nobody likes to.
And Russ's value went down so low this playoffs that nobody wants to touch him.
I couldn't even.
Nobody really wants to touch Russ for real.
Like I feel bad for him at the playoffs because he got injury and then he had COVID.
Yeah, and then came back.
And having to come back of COVID, you don't know how healthy he was.
That boy confidence from the 3-point line.
That's a great point too. That's a great point, by the way.
Yeah. So you don't know how your body comes out like after quarantine for 14 days, and then like the competitor he went straight onto the court as soon as he could.
He had COVID too. I thought he was just hurt.
No, he was hurt, and then he had COVID.
Oh damn. Maybe I don't want him. No, just kidding.
But his 3-point shooting so bad though. They leaked off him so bad in the playoff.
The Lakers had nobody on him. He's down in the corner and just letting him shoot. But I don't understand when an athlete like that, knowing his shooting is bad, how it never got better. Because he'd be so much valuable.
Because he just gets to the basket at will, man. It's like it's crazy how like effortless he's so fucking fast. Like, he just gets to the rim.
The guy's so entertaining to watch. He doesn't stop. He goes 100 all game, every game.
Yeah, I just want that.
That's what you need in the Knicks, because, like as we said, like a lot of our kids are lazy. I
wouldn't say they're lazy. I just say like they don't know what to do. Like we had veterans like Lance Thomas and like Wayne Ellington teaching them. Like, come on, like even the Hawks, they had Vince Carter. Like I know he's like mad old, but like he was a star. Like he could tell you like how to be a pro.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna listen to Lance Thomas. Nobody's gonna listen to Wayne Ellington.
We just need a consistent coach too.
Yeah.
We needed the right coach, and I think we have the right coach. And what we need to do is we need to win and develop to get winning habits. This sitting and losing and tanking isn't good for the.
Yeah, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of watching. I'm sick of looking who's the top prospects every year.
Right.
That's just
every year.
Every year, I'm like, oh, okay.
Looking at the draft and being like, oh, who are we going to get this year? I want to be like the Lakers, where you don't even worry about the draft.
Yeah.
Like they don't care. They
and you know what I'm sick of too? I'm sick of a position of need dominating the headline. Like, oh, we need a point guard. Oh, I think I found one, Torrey Murray. I think I found one. What's the point guard that got cut by Phoenix and everybody got hyped?
Jared Harper. Yeah.
Oh man, we just picked up Jared Harper. Get the fuck out of it. Oh man, why did we cut Kadeem Allen? Man, he was contributing for us. Yeah, I mean, I'm
sick of like people being like, "Oh man, we lost this G leaguer." Like,
oh my god!
But you know what? Who started this? Phil Jackson started all this shit.
Yeah, he traded like any valuable piece for like scrubs.
Yeah, and that's why
he signed scrubs on top of it.
New York after Phil Jackson, like
freaking Ron Baker,
right?
Travis Ware, Sasha Vujacic. Jose Calderon.
Oh my god.
Mario Hezonja for a year.
Yeah. Jason Smith.
Emmanuel Mudiay is your starting point guard.
Cole
Aldridge. Oh my god. Josh Harrelson. Quincy Acey.
Yeah,
Jason Smith. Kevin Seraphin.
Yes, Seraphin.
Oh my god. Kevin Seraphin was the original French guy. Well, not the original French guy. But they were like, Kevin Seraphin has all the skills. He's just a little passive.
And fat.
If we draft Killian Hayes, I think New York's gonna riot. If we get Killian Hayes to like another French point guard.
That'll be unfair on him, but like I don't think he's as good as people are rating him. Like
I think he has potential. He's a lovely, really nice step back. He can create his own shot. He can pass. He just needs to be consistent.
Like, I think Schmitz and Gavoni, the guys who run Draft Express, they were saying that German team that he was on was basically it's like, okay, Hayes, we're giving you the ball, do whatever you want, because they wanted to bring his stock up. Because they're trying to recruit. They're trying to recruit other high school players to come to play with them. You're like, see what we did with Hayes? You could be a lottery pick if you come here.
Right, exactly. They just brought him there to eat. They was like, come here and eat, and it'll raise everybody's profile.
Yeah, and they won like 2 games last year.
Right. And so,
the draft is going to be interesting.
This is like the worst draft I've ever seen since 2001.
Yeah.
Or whichever one is the Kenya Martin one.
I agree.
Whichever one's the Kenya Martin one.
No,
the Kenya Martin draft was terrible.
Yeah.
What was it? 2013. Anthony Bennett went number 1.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kenya Martin,
that was 2015.
We got the UC.
Yeah, I know.
He's over in China somewhere playing a G League team in China, I think.
Like, I think there was Kenya Martin, freaking Darius Miles, some other people. Like I think Kenyon Martin and Jamal Crawford are the best ones in that draft.
Yeah.
And then they say next
I'm
year's
looking for
draft
it now. I can't even.
This
Next year's
offseason is gonna be crazy, man.
Next year's draft is really good.
But we got to see how they play off in college because we haven't seen them yet in college. Then you can kind of around like February, March. Then you can kind of figure. Well, like when's the college season starting?
November-ish. November 20th.
If they start.
Yeah, if they start. If they don't have any problems.
Yeah. Oh my. Hey, so Art. Now let me name some of the players out of this 2000 draft, just so that I can turn y'all stomach. So Kenyon Martin, number 1. Stromile Swift, number 2.
Oh my gosh.
Darius Miles, number 3. Yep. Marcus Fizer, number 4.
Marcus Fizer,
Mike Miller. Mike Miller was the number 5 pick.
He won Rookie of the Year. He won Rookie of the Year.
Mike Miller was good.
DeMar Johnson. Y'all remember DeMar Johnson?
Yeah, I remember DeMar Johnson. He was on the Knicks.
Chris Mims, Jamal Crawford, Joe Prisbilla, Keon Doolan, Jerome Moiso, Eton Thomas, Courtney Alexander, Mateen Cleat. I can't go on, man. My stomach is turning.
Mateen Cleat is a great college point guard. No, he was 2002.
Oh, he's 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah, that draft was good though. That had Yao Ming, that had Stoudemire, some other people.
Oh my God, this draft is.
03 was it 03? Then was LeBron, Wade, Melo.
Yep. Yep. Darko.
Have y'all decided who y'all want to draft? Is Vassell the leader candidate?
Look,
I want a
combo. If the Westbrook thing goes, if the Russell Westbrook thing is official, then
I would just go best player.
You gotta go Devin Vassell.
Yeah, you gotta go Vassell or Naismith if you get Westbrook. But if you don't get Westbrook, I'm trading back and taking Tyrell Terry. I think he can shoot lights out and he can craft around the rim. He has a lot of potential to be the next.
I don't know, man.
Youngest.
I don't know either.
I think he just needs time.
Terry was really inconsistent. He would flash good
low.
Oh man, this kid could play, and then would just disappear for a while. I think if Okongwu was there at 8, you take him.
Be mad about if the Knicks drafted Okongwu. My only thing with Okongwu is what do you do with Mitch or what do you do with Okongwu? I know you have to draft that 23rd.
No, you know what Miami did? Miami still took Bam when they had Hassan Whiteside. They still played.
Yeah.
They got rid of him fast.
Yeah. Once Bam was ready, they got rid of Whiteside.
Yeah, I can see that.
So all the good teams do it. The Nuggets did it with freaking Moutier and Murray. They took Murray even though they drafted Moutier the year before.
But you know what? My only trepidation, the only thing that really slows me down is the fact that those teams were borderline playoff teams. If the draft pick didn't work out, they could still win 40 games, right? I don't know if this team could still win 40 games if you account for the duplicity. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that you don't draft the best available player because I think you should always do that regardless. Yep. The Portland Trailblazers has proven that. They traded Clyde Drexler. I mean, they drafted Michael Jordan because they passed on Michael Jordan because they had Clyde Drexler and Jim Paxson. And Jim Paxson was an all-star the year before. So they passed on Jordan to take Sam Bowie, right? Yep. I think they regret that now. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that the results wouldn't be whatever, but I think you draft best player available.
Man, I already think Okongwu is better than Mitch right now.
Oh yeah,
Okongwu is nice. He could do everything Mitch does, and you could feed him in the post.
Right.
He knows what to do with the ball. You notice every center that Tibbs has could do more than just dunk and block shots. Karl Anthony Towns, he was cerebral. Joakim Noah was cerebral. Mitch isn't.
To me, with Mitch is all the potential in the world, but I'm worried about paying him. We gotta pay him. We gotta pay him after this year, and he is fucking Rich Paul as his agent, so he's gonna. Rich Paul's gonna fleece somebody to get him paid.
Yeah, Yep, Rich Paul is definitely gonna get him paid.
He's gonna get him paid. He's gonna get him. I think Mitch is worth maybe between 10 and 12, but he's gonna get upwards of 15 million a year.
He's gonna get that Clint Capella.
Golden State or some other team's gonna take him and watch. He'll go be an all-star.
I don't see it.
Oh boy! Who let the dogs out?
What's going on,
Who
fellas?
showed up in the building? Yo, look who it is. Hey, what's up, Tony Crow?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling.
This dude agrees with a lot of the shit I say. A lot of the stuff he says.
I ain't going
to Yo, hey, everybody in the chat, it's my man. This is my ace. Tony Crow is in the building.
Peace.
Hey, Tony, don't come in here cutting me up about Westbrook. You got that look in your eye like you want to take me to the principal office.
Nah, man, we good, man. We good.
You want Westbrook, don't you?
I'm a fan.
Westbrook.
I'm a fan.
So what type of trade do you think it is to get it done? Because a lot of people reckon that it's going to get done and it might get done tomorrow before the draft.
You want to hear my offer?
What do you think gets it done?
I mean, I don't really want to give up assets, honestly. I want to do absorb the contract. So if we're not absorbing, then I'm not with it. Because I'm still with the youth movement. You know what I mean? Develop players, develop our own draftees. We haven't done.
You need a guy to show the way, though. You got to show. You need a guy in the house.
Agreed. But that's why I want to absorb.
Yeah, like we were always good with Patrick Ewing because he set the tone for the franchise. Knicks haven't had that since.
I don't think anybody wants Russ, to be totally honest.
Yeah,
but us.
You can't look at all the teams that are contenders. Like they can't absorb that 44.
Can't afford them.
Yeah,
But that's why I'm saying Houston are going to try and get something for him. But then towards the middle of free agency, when there's no market for him, they're going to be desperate to get off that contract to try and sign a free agent before Harden leaves.
He already asked for a trade though. They got to trade him.
Oh yeah, it's a done deal. He's leaving, but they don't want that new coach to. I think they want the new coach to have a full rebuild. So
yeah, if Harden goes to Brooklyn though, that's either going to.
I think Harden goes to 76ers,
or it's going to be a shit.
Yeah, I think 76ers that makes more sense to me.
76ers have a better offer.
Yeah,
they could offer either Embiid or Simmons.
Yeah, now, hey, let me ask y'all a question. Would y'all try to get anybody else from Houston in the Westbrook trade?
If we would get
Robert
Covington.
Yes.
That's Robert Covington or Tucker. I'll take any of those two because those two are dogs.
I want Rocco so bad.
Defense and can shoot and then play. He can play the 3 or the 4. So
you
get versatile, you got defender, and you got a shooter.
That's why. There's one thing me and Freezy agree on is Jeremy Grant.
I'm the first one who brought that up. I want to put that out there right now.
I just don't see it. I don't see him leaving the Nuggets though.
Yeah, the Nuggets are going to pay him out.
I mean, money talks. Money talks.
Yeah, but the Nuggets could pay him anything too.
No, they can't.
The Nuggets are loaded though.
They have bigger obligations. They can't pay him anything. Not without making a move.
But Murray and Jokic are already locked up. Porter Jr. is not up for a contract till
another
2 years. Yeah, another 2 or 3 years.
What about Gary Harris?
Gary Harris is
who cares about Gary Harris? Gary Harris, they can move.
Well, that's what I mean. They're gonna have to make a move if they want to pay Grant.
Yeah, I think Grant is more valuable to them than Gary Harris. And
the question is, do they think that?
They definitely do. You saw them in the playoffs. Come on, they're not dumb.
Stranger things have happened.
They're not. It's not Steve Mills running the Nuggets. It's a smart guy there.
Yeah, but he's been a journeyman. It's not like he hasn't done this his whole career. It's not like this was like a breakout season for him.
Oh, this was a breakout season for him. Jeremy Grant balled out.
Yeah, he did ball out.
he balled out, but you guys probably noticed now because he was in the playoffs.
Yeah, when he was
that's why.
Right.
That's why he got
to. But he hasn't done anything that he hasn't been doing. Is what I'm saying. I've been wanting Jeremy Grant. Like a lot of people,
you know who was the player he played with when he actually broke out, though?
Huh?
You know who was the player he played with when he actually broke out?
Russell
Westbrook.
Right.
In OKC.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie, I kind of like the mods.
But I don't know. I don't see it.
You,
I just don't see him leaving because they're like a legit championship contender. Like I don't see him leaving.
Yeah, well, they may not have a choice because when if they take on Drew Holiday's contract, if they take on Drew Holiday's contract, they may not be a player in the Jeremy Grant sweepstakes.
They have his bird rights.
Them looking for Bradley Beal too.
No, he's if he opts out, there's no bird rights.
No, I think there is.
Even if he opts out.
Yeah, because
bird rights are only.
Lakers still have the bird rights for Anthony Davis, and he just opted out.
Yeah, the Lakers are the bird rights for him. Yeah, that's true. If you're the contract's traded over, so he was drafted to OKC, traded over to the Nuggets, and then the bird rights go with the contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
So you saying they can go over the cap to pay him?
Yeah.
They can. I think they could go over the cap to pay him. I think that's true.
But
I'm not certain.
Are they willing to do that?
Yeah, but that's the point that I was getting at, though.
I think they are because they're like right there, you know, like.
Yeah, if they can, they have to.
Yeah,
they're in the West, so they're right there, but they're not right there because the Lakers aren't the only team that they gotta defeat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they came back in a historic way against the Clippers. You think chances are they could do that again?
No, the Clippers
the Clippers are in danger. The Clippers are in danger.
Help.
Now all they need is a point guard. All they need is a point guard.
But like Lou Will and Harrell could leave.
Well, Howard's a free agent.
They still would be fine. All they need is a real point guard.
I think they're gonna miss Lou.
Yeah, like you see how bad like they missed those two. Like those two were playing bad. Like if those two played good, they might have beat whoever they lost to.
That's true.
See, that's the thing.
But you know what though? But here's the thing. When's the last time you seen Lou Will or Beverly carry a playoff team? That's not in their bag. They are support players.
Yeah, but who are the Clippers going to replace them with?
Rondo.
Yeah,
Rondo's not good. I don't know.
That's what they need.
Rondo.
Rondo's going back to the Lakers. They're going to run back and dominate.
It don't even have to be Rondo because they have great players. If they get a high basketball IQ point guard, Kyle Lowry,
they got trade.
It's a few
Rubio, maybe? No, not Rubio.
Alfred Payton.
Rubio would have worked.
You try to sneak that one in?
All right, so
throw them Alfred Payton. Give me 2 first-round picks. I'll give you Alfred Payton.
Man, Alfred Payton would start for Sylvester Delicatessen. Y'all remember that from Dead Presidents? It would start for Sylvester Delicatessen, man. Elf is a backup, man.
Yo, what do you think about trying to re-sign Mook Morris? Morris.
I don't see it.
I'd rather not.
Yeah.
No.
He's like.
He was good.
I'd rather have so many other players than him.
Say that again.
He was good with us last year.
I think we got what we was gonna get from him. A nice pick.
A lot of people are good with us, but we don't win.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
You know, let me shout my man. Yo, Andy's in the building, halfway across the world. Andy, what you doing up this time of morning?
Going to work.
What's good with you?
Yeah, it's 6:30.
Doing something productive, being a grown up, probably. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious these next couple of days.
So what young player you think is not going to survive this week with the Knicks? I heard Kevin Knox. I really think DSJ is the one that's absolutely gone this week.
I don't think so.
I think they're going to give it. They're going to give Knox and give Frank until the deadline. And if they don't start balling out or at least being productive by the deadline, then they'll move them.
I think it's either Knox or DSJ.
I think DSJ is going to be included in the trade. Now that I think about it,
I want to see what Kenny Payne and that guy Brian and Tibbs can do with Knox.
They're not the Wizard of Oz, man. You're giving them too much pressure.
But you can try something with it. Look, you're
gonna be disappointed.
2 years, and it took them time.
So y'all legit think RJ and Mitch are safe?
Oh yeah, Mitch is safe. They're not.
I think Frank's safe too.
RJ is safe. If the right deal came from Mitch could be gone if there was a right deal.
I think Knox is the wild card. I don't think Knox is safe.
Knox is not safe at all. He shouldn't.
Nobody in this roster is safe except RJ. RJ is locked down, untouchable. The rest of them, they say Mitch maybe, but if the right deal was offered, Mitch could go.
Only reason I know Mitch ain't going nowhere, they sent the coach to Louisiana just for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's safe.
Who they send? They sent Woody, right?
They sent Kenny Payne.
Oh, I thought they sent Woody.
It could have been Woody. My bad. It could have been Woody. But they sent a whole coach down there for him. He's safe.
Yeah. For who?
Right.
For Mitchell Robinson.
Knox?
Oh, yeah. They
Robinson.
sent guys down for Mitchell Robinson down to Louisiana. Well, about that.
Yeah, Knox is from Florida.
I want to see him more than I want to start seeing him post up and trying to do a little bit more because all he is a dunker and a blocker, a rim runner.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get them guys in the second round.
I'm fine with that.
He sucks at setting screens.
I don't know what people talking about, man. Elite shot blocker and elite rim runner and finisher.
If you're gonna have to
as long as he can shoot a good free throw, I'm fine with him.
I don't care about playing the wrong.
I don't care about paying him.
He needs to get a post game because if you're gonna,
I hope he develops, but I'm not the one that's like, oh, we gotta trade him if he don't develop. Like, no.
I'm not trying to trade him. I'm just saying is before we have to pay him because then we'll have to pay him next year. And with Chris or what's his name?
We don't got to pay him for 2 years.
Oh, you got to pay him after next year because he's a second round pick.
Yeah. Well, we're acting like the season started. It's not after the end of this season coming. That's about to start.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's about the end of the season. Yeah.
It's 2 more years. Go double check. I'm telling you. We signed him for 4 years.
Yeah, we don't have to sign Mitch until 22. Yeah. Yeah, we don't have to sign Mitch until 22.
Why are all these sites like saying like it could be a problem?
Because everybody tries to sign the player, extend the player the first time. Yeah, exactly. So we could extend him next summer. We could extend him after this season coming up.
Are we re-signing?
But if we don't extend him, he becomes an unrestricted.
Yeah, come on.
Right.
Let Doc play.
I like him. Yeah, I'm a fan of keeping all the young guys together, man. Honestly, the only one that I'm willing to give up with like no hesitation is Dennis Smith, and I still like him.
It's just not realistic though. You can't.
I'm still intrigued. I'm intrigued at what Tibbs could do with him. I'll say that.
I just can't see a roster with like 9 players that were drafted by the Knicks. Because you're getting 3 more kids, and then you already have like 8 kids now.
The second round pick's probably going to go to the G League.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, so but the whole thing about
that's like 9 roster spots.
Yeah, we have
players under 24.
Yeah, but you can carry 17 or you can carry 17 players. And the fact, like what Tony is saying, so I'm not totally buying into what Tony's saying, but I understand where he's coming from. Like you legit can carry, say 5 or 6, 7 kids, and then fill out the rest of the roster with 9 or 10 other guys. You know what I'm saying? I would rather get guys, a clean slate guy, as opposed to signing a Wayne Ellington who's gonna make about 5 times more than the kid we get in the second round. You know what I'm saying? So for instance, if we can get Jaden McDaniels at 38, I prefer Jaden McDaniels as a clean slate coming in where we can build them up in our environment, as opposed to a Wayne Ellington that's going to make $10 million.
All them guys are gone.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go. You
can't wait to get
all
them
those
off the
contracts
roster.
are gone.
No, I'm using him as an example. He's an example, is what I'm saying. Like say to Tony talking to me, you keep all the young kids. That's only 5 players. So you draft 3 more. You get
3 more.
You get so now you have 8 kids and now 9 other roster spots.
Yeah, Robinson, RJ, Knox, Iggy, DSJ, Frank. Who else? Who else am I missing?
Then the 3 picks this year.
Yeah, 3 picks this year. That's 9 roster spots.
4 more.
Okay.
4 more in
And then you have Randall, who's a guaranteed. And then you have.
You're gonna move Randall. Randall's gonna be gone.
Okay, for who? For
if
Westbrook, right?
But Randall is a veteran.
Okay,
let's say nobody's gone. There's no trade, so that's 10, right?
Yeah.
Right.
How many people we signed last year? 5.
We signed Taj, Morris, Randall,
right?
Alfred.
Yeah, just a bunch of power
Bullock.
forwards.
So okay, so out of those guys, the only person I would keep is Bullock.
And we're keeping Bullock.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 11
that's
11 roster spots, right? One of those guys is a second round pick. We'll assume we sign him and we just let him play in the G League, right? So now that we down to 10.
It's still a roster spot though. It's a guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
I mean,
because when a player goes down to the G League, it's still a roster spot. Like Iggy.
Agree. Okay, all right.
Unless they sign
a 2-way. Unless they sign a 2-way. But that's
Yeah, right. But I think our 2-way guys, as of right now, are covered. So if 2 of these guys are better than our 2-way guys now, then they go 2-way, and then that gives us 2. Oh well, no, the 2-way guys are part of the 17, correct? It's 15 regular and 2.
15
all right,
and
so
2-way.
So right now we had 11 guys.
Right.
Let's say we need 4 guys.
I think we trade.
We got 4 guys left. Okay, we let one of these guys go in a trade.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah.
I think Randall's the one.
And with the picks too, we gotta move picks because I'm like, you have 3 picks coming in this year. You have 4 more picks next year. Like, this isn't a daycare center. I'm like, you can't keep loading up with kids.
Well,
you need to move
it technically it kind of is. Like,
that's what Boston did.
The right thing to do is keep your ass move. The wrong thing to do is moving assets at the wrong time. The easiest way to do it at the wrong time is too early. It's more likely that you move an asset too early, and that's a mistake. Then you hold on to an asset too long, and that's a mistake.
Right.
So, especially a draft pick because it's unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that matters.
If your team's in a position where it's winning, then draft picks become more reliable to trade because you're in a winning position. Mm-hmm. But when you're not winning, holding on to draft picks kind of, don't make sense.
Yeah.
Right. And to Tony's point, in a youth movement, you don't have to keep 1,000 kids, right? You have to identify the kids that's going to be a part of the future and develop them. The ones that are not, you got to ship them off and try to get what you can for them, right? At the same time, what you don't want to do is have also ran vets coming up, taking up your cap and valuable minutes from your youngsters, and you still wind up in the lottery. Why keep 3 kids and why keep 3 kids and 14 veterans, and you're gonna wind up in the lottery and you have no future and no way of making the playoffs because these dudes are not bought into your organization. What you want to do is bring them in and groom them in an environment that's conducive to winning, kind of like the Miami Heat. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like the Miami Heat or the Indiana Pacers or someone like that who don't take winning lightly. Like, you rarely see the Indiana Pacers in the lottery. You know what I mean? Or in the top 10 by choice, right? So you put them in.
That's a trade I don't want. Oladipo, I don't want.
Oh yeah,
I'm just saying.
Like just talking about the Pacers, I'm just like, no, I don't want.
So basically, what Tony is saying is the thing like this: keep your kids, the ones that you value, the ones that you don't value. Like in Tony's case, was DSJ, right? He don't value him as much, so he can go, right? But my thing is this: before you trade the young guys away, go through the draft and pick out the ones that you feel like are going to be a part of the program going forward, and then the others include them in trades. Like if Knox doesn't fit what you look to do, then you had to be like, hey Knox, listen, it was real, you just don't fit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, my view is this: you don't need to be. I think you can have a top heavy veteran team and a bunch of kids and be successful. Because if you top heavy with good vets, they're going to drag that team to the playoffs. And you know what the young kids get during that time? They get experience during that time, making the playoffs, going through all these winning and losing situations. So when it's time for the kids to start rowing the boat, guess what the kids will start doing? Rowing the boat. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way to do it. If you bring in a Westbrook, and then say you draft Killian Hayes at 8. You know Russell Westbrook is your point guard for at least the next 2 years, while Killian Hayes is learning from Russell Westbrook and making the playoffs and all these things. The ideal situation to me to look at is the Miami Heat. Like the Miami Heat had a team full of youngsters, but all people talk about is the vets. They're like, oh, Gordon Dragic did such and such. Oh, Jimmy Butler did such and such. Jay Crowder shot such and such. But they don't mention Tyler Heroes, the Kendrick Nuns, all the young dudes that are on the roster getting valuable experience. I think that's the ideal situation for us to be in.
It's because those kids are good. That's why they play. Like they're not going to play them because Justice Winslow was not good, so they didn't play him. They didn't just play him because he was a kid. They play their good players. Like
to your example. They traded away one of their kids to get Jimmy Butler. They traded away Josh Richardson, one of their young kids, to get Jimmy Butler. You know what I'm saying?
Who was good?
Yeah, Richardson was good, but Jimmy Butler.
Right.
Yeah, I think Winslow was an understandable mistake. He was high on a lot of draft boards. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was rising on draft boards.
I didn't want to.
I just think he had the work ethic for Miami. You know, they on a different type of.
And I agree with that. I think like Miami is like a whole different situation than the rest of the league.
They shipped out Michael Beasley before his third year, I think, and he was the second overall pick.
Michael Beasley shouldn't be in Miami. Period.
No.
They also brought him back though.
Yeah, they brought him
back.
Later on.
Later. So when they had LeBron, Wade, and Bosh.
But here's my thing with the Knicks. Me and Freezy was talking about it a little bit earlier. We gotta find we gotta start keeping some of our picks. We can't keep drafting players and not re-signing them or trading them before they even finish their 3 or 4 year rookie contract. We got to develop these players.
Yeah, but right now, if you look back, like who would we legit re-sign? Who did we draft in the past, other than Gallinari and Wilson Chandler?
Ariza should have been re-signed. Gallinari traded. Porzingis traded. Wilson Chandler.
Porzingis would have got re-signed here though.
Say what?
David Lee got
re-signed.
No.
In a sign and trade, that don't count. Sign and trade don't count.
He signed his what? They kept giving him like 1 year deals. I remember before he got traded.
You're right. You're right.
They kept.
He was.
I remember like he just kept getting 1 year deals.
That's all we should do.
I think he only got one. I think he only got one though.
Yeah, and then he got signed and traded, but we should have kept him.
We forget we got to Jamal Murray too. People forget that.
Yeah.
No, he was drafted with our pick.
Yeah, with our pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we traded
to get Melo.
For Melo.
Yeah. That was stupid. They should have waited a year and got Melo.
But just think about it. What year was Charlie Ward re-signed? Because that's the last rookie that we re-signed. How many years has it been?
96?
Like 20,
96? That's like 25 years ago?
25 years, and we haven't re-signed a single rookie that we drafted. So
yeah, look who we drafted though. Like Sweetney wasn't gonna get one. Jordan Hill wasn't gonna get one.
You're right. We had some bad draft picks as well. Because I believe
most of our draft picks were bad.
Ron Artest should have been.
Ron Artest should have been drafted to the Knicks.
But that was more of a Ron Artest issue though. Ron Artest caused us not to draft him.
Yeah. I peeped
drunk for he missed the workout because he was drunk.
And thought I'm going to New York anyway. I don't gotta be there. But that's funny.
Yeah.
But just imagine him, Allen Houston, and Spree. And Camby. That would have been a nice score right there.
Yeah.
Do you think Westbrook would fit with these young guys?
I think he would make it work. Like I think.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
do.
He made OKC work.
He's not, and that's the other thing. He's not selfish, and he's not. He holds the ball, but he holds the ball with purpose. Yeah. More like Kyrie does.
Yep.
Even though Kyrie is better ball handler, like James Harden, he holds the ball in a single spot. You know what I mean?
Right.
like Westbrook has the ball, but he's moving with it, which means if you're moving with him, he's gonna find you.
Yeah.
Would you keep Julius if we could?
No.
I would if we was
if we couldn't get the right.
If we were going after Westbrook and we could give up all the expirants and one of our young guys, preferably not Knox, obviously not Barrett and not Mitch.
I don't think Randall runs the floor that well. Like he never ran with when RJ was running fast breaks by himself last year. Like Randall wasn't ever running with him.
I'll tell you this: even if he's on that team, he's gonna have to learn how to either be the trail guy, or if he wants to score, he's gonna have to run down court.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and you know what? And you know what?
Simple as that.
Hey, let me say this real quick because my man David Piccolo said so. I just want to address it. So he said the two biggest mistakes the Knicks made was trading Bill Cartwright to the Bulls and letting Mark Jackson go. The organization has been chasing his tail ever since. Y'all too young to know about that. Hey, David Piccolo, I'm not too young to know about that. I cried when we traded Clyde Drexler to Cleveland. I cried at school when Pearl retired. Hey, Bill Cartwright was my favorite player. My uncle was like, yo, we one big man away, and we drafted Bill Cartwright, and I thought we was going to win a championship because we drafted Bill Cartwright. I ain't too young. You know what I'm saying? I know about all these Knicks mistakes.
I'm too young.
And it's one of the reasons why I listen to everybody in the chat and listen to their takes, because a lot of people, even though I may not agree wholly with what they're saying, I definitely agree partly to their points. You know what I'm saying? You take parts from everybody, what everybody take, and then formulate your own or whatever. You know what I'm saying? In this situation right here, what Tony Crow was talking about, and what Art is talking about, we don't want to hustle backwards. Like we don't want to not have youth and be hamstrung by the cap and not be able to replenish talent. That's the thing we have been doing for like 20 years. Like 35-year-old vet next deal. Right? Exactly. We hamstringing ourselves and can't replenish talent. That's why when we make a playoff run and that run is over, we back in the lottery. You know what I'm saying? What we want to do is backfill the roster with talent. Hopefully one of those guys that we draft will be a superstar or at least a star or at least a starter so that we can continue to replenish this roster and not be the known for being the only lottery team. That's what we want to do. That's why when Tony said he wouldn't mind keeping the youngsters, I understand what he's saying, right? In hopes that two guys out of that 7 or so will be solid NBA starters. Everybody's not going to start. No team starts 5 guys 21 and under. It just don't make sense. But if you continue to replenish your team with solid drafting, go out get solid vets, your team can contend. The sad thing about the NBA, though, is only one team out of 30 can win the NBA championship. What we want to do as an organization is at least be in the top 6 every year. We want to be in the top 6 to 8 every year where we have a shot. You know what I'm saying? And then if the time is right and the situation is right, maybe we can go get us a guy that can put us into that top 2. Because championships are not guaranteed to anybody. You basically want to have a shot at a championship.
Unless you're like the Lakers, you just buy a championship like they seem to do on Brooklyn.
But even the Lakers ain't guaranteed. If they ain't have Rondo, if they ain't have Rondo this year, they ain't win.
Man, if Golden State was healthy, they would have won.
Golden State are going to make some noise. Yeah. I feel they feel
and to that championship, into the buying championship thing, who in the NBA has more money than the Clippers owner and James Dolan? So if it was as easy as just buying a championship, it'd be the Clippers and the Knicks every year. And you know what I'm saying? If it was just flat out money.
But see, the Clippers built a culture.
Pandemic P.
We have no culture. You need to build a winning culture where you can go 2 or 3, maybe 4 years in a row making the playoffs. Then stars want to come. That's how the Clippers made the 2 playoff runs. The same with Brooklyn made 2 playoff runs. Then the stars came. Like what the Knicks were too hoping on KD and Kyrie after tanking. And players don't want to go into a team just from like a losing situation, especially in New York. So what we got to do is if we have to get Russ in here, get somebody in here with the young guys and start getting like the 7th or 8th seed for 2 or 3 years, then someone's going to come. Because as I said, after Westbrook's contract up in 2023, Devin Booker's a free agent. And he is more likely to come if the Knicks don't do 2 or 3 runs of the playoffs. He's not going to want to come if we're still losing and trying to tank or try and develop.
Mm-hmm.
So the best way for these guys is just a winning culture. Winning games is the best for development.
I think we got some diamonds in the rough on this team too.
Yeah, Mitch is definitely a diamond in the rough. He can improve, but I can see he will get better.
I only like Mitch and RJ.
I like Iggy.
The other guys could go.
I like Iggy too.
Iggy could be something.
Iggy
I actually like Iggy.
He was in the G League last year.
I want to see him play. But
yeah, he should get some minutes.
I like that. I like the idea of Iggy. I don't like Iggy as a starter.
Oh, no starter, but a great piece off the bench. Like Iggy was hitting 30,
15 minutes a game, and then see what he can do. The same with Dotson. Dotson needed more minutes, and I don't think he's going to re-sign if we offer because he wasn't treated right. He was at the bottom of the bench.
Oh, he's going after that bad. Dot going after that bad.
Minutes.
Hey, Freezy.
Well,
you know what? You know why I'm a little bit low on Westbrook. Like I wouldn't mind it because I know it is gonna get us. He is gonna get us to the playoffs. Like that's without a question. But it's also gonna be a lower ceiling. Like I'm real high on Rondo, Van Vliet, traded for Kyle Lowry. Number one, all these guys, what they have in common?
They all want a chip.
Some Van Vliet, Kyle Lowry championships, Rondo championships,
Van Vliet championship.
Yeah. Like
my only thing.
Wait. Let me finish real quick. If you remember last year in the offseason, I was the first guy saying we need to trade for Chris Paul, and the chat was killing me. They was killing me.
I wanted.
I don't want that contract. Blah 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 blah. And then a year later,
now they want.
He's an MVP.
Everybody's like, "Yo, we need to trade for Chris Paul." Like, I'm still high on Chris Paul too, but I'm not even as high. I knew what Chris Paul could do for the Knicks. Same thing Westbrook could do. Chris Paul would probably do it better because he's more of a natural leader.
Yep.
But he's older.
I think Chris Paul is a Euro step away from tearing his Achilles.
Yeah.
And that's a risk.
Man,
don't say yeah. Don't say it, dog. I mean, honestly,
I don't wish it on nobody. Knock on wood.
Nah.
Rondo, Van Fleet, even trading for Kyle Lowry, or is a few other guys on my list. I'm drawing a blank right now, but these are cheaper options that aren't going to cost a single asset.
What? Well, Kyle Lowry might cost assets. But when's his contract up next year, right?
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry might cost an option, but I doubt it's a player. I think we could give up a single first round pick, preferably not next year's, either one of them.
Masai Ujiri is definitely going to try to rip off the Knicks if they try to trade for Larry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what he likes.
Try yes, but yeah. I think if we're early on the trade, because remember, especially if they keep Van Fleet, that means they're paying him.
Do you think they're gonna pay him?
Yep.
I don't think they're gonna.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
The way he's talking, it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
He's like, I'm trying to get paid. So if the Knicks offer him the money, he'll go. But the thing is, I don't think
Detroit's going to be paying him $20
million for him as a starting point guard. I think he's better as a 2 guard. And I don't want to pay.
Talking about Van Vliet, right?
Yeah. Like I like Van Vliet, but I think he's
I just want to take it like 20 seconds, man. The Fred Van Vliet thing is to me is this, and I know I said it last night, but I think Fred Van Vliet is Tito Jackson. Just because you on stage with Michael, don't mean you the star. You know what I'm saying? Just because they give you a time to do your solo, don't mean you might. Because at the end of the day, when they put the light on the microphone, you know who coming up to the mic? The star. And Fred Van Vliet is not that guy in New York. You think
he's going to come here?
Perfect circumstances.
You think he's going to come here and pull a Julius Randle and say, oh, hypothetically, because I'm the highest paid guy, I got to be the hero and take over or you think he's going to? Well, I don't think he's a role player. I think he plays his role.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense
to me.
That makes sense.
And I think, and the fact that he has experience, like, I think people are very low on him because he was an undrafted player. Yeah. Because if this guy was picked the 5th pick and coming off his rookie contract, even if he was drafted as a senior or whatever the case, nobody would be mad about paying him.
You think he's worth $20 million?
I think he's proved it.
Not to the Knicks.
If that's the range, that's not max, right?
No.
Yeah. Then absolutely.
I feel like he wants to get paid. I don't think $20 million.
I put an option up there. I'd give him a 4-year, $80 million contract, and I'll break it down like this: $24 million next year, right? Big incentive. Takes care of the 18% escrow money. Then 16 the next year, 16 the following year, and then a team option for the 4th year for another 24. That gives us cap space. In next summer, you got your starting point guard for at least the next 3 years, and you're not giving up assets for anybody. Like, I don't know if you guys obviously seen the interview he just did. Like,
he wants to get paid.
Forget about the bag. He said, what did he say? I haven't had a chance to basically play the point guard role. Like, I'm not used to being a scorer or a volume shooter. Like, he adjusted to what they needed him to do. Throughout his career, before the NBA, obviously, he was a natural point guard.
And you know what's a crazy take? I actually think he'd be better for RJ than Westbrook.
I do too.
I think y'all might be. I disagree.
I think you're crazy. Yeah.
Only because and Westbrook can't shoot.
So
the lane's gonna be crowded just like last year.
You put shooters around him. You get a stretch four, and then having Westbrook forces RJ to learn how to shoot.
So Julius got to go then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't have Julius if I had Westbrook. You'd have no spacing.
Nope.
Julius and Mitch would be clogging the lane. Westbrook would have nowhere to go.
You think Van Vliet is better than Terry Rozier?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What did Terry Rozier get? He got like 20.
19.
Million.
He got 19.
I don't know.
I'm not
You think Van Vliet is better than Derrick Rose?
No.
Like today?
Oh, Derrick Rose right now, yeah.
I think so.
No, Derrick was nice last year.
Yeah, Derrick was
18 a game, right?
Yeah. He was like almost 6 men.
I think
Derrick Rose when he was on the Knicks was still pretty good.
Yeah.
Decent, yeah.
I think
but again, all right, so is Van Vliet better than him?
No.
Right now,
no?
Yeah.
No.
We got one no, one yes.
Toronto was.
Huh?
He's better than Derrick Rose now. He's not better than prime Derrick Rose, but he's better than Derrick Rose right now. Derrick Rose is a 6th man in Detroit. He didn't start in Detroit.
No, that was his role. Is it?
Do we believe
you think Derrick Rose adapted?
Do you think he can lead a team?
Yeah, Derrick Rose adapted. He obviously did if he's scoring 18 off the bench.
Watching interviews and just seeing stuff about Van Vliet, I think he has the leadership. I think he can run his own team when getting the opportunity. Because you see, he was the type of player that said, you know what, I'm not the main guy. I'm going to go more off ball. I'm more successful.
But you're paying him all-star money. He's not going to be an all-star.
Nah, all-star money. Nowadays, all-star money is closer to 30. All-stars get paid up close to 30. No all-star getting 20 million. Like, so you're okay giving Julius Randle 19 million, but you don't want to give Van Vliet 20.
I'm not okay with giving Julius Randle that money.
Yeah, that's me.
Right.
You think Randle's overpaid too?
Yeah, I actually think Randle's underpaid.
I think he's paid right. He's paid like a third option. 18 million is a third option payment.
I think Randle, you know what? If Randle stays on the team, he may be the most improved player.
I agree with that too, man. I'm high on Randle too. As much as I play devil's advocate a lot, like Randle's a guy that if you take last year away, he's improved every single year of his career. Every single year. Each category.
I think that year with the Pelicans was because it was a contract year.
So what do you think about the 2 years before that? Like, I'm telling you, 3 years in a row, he's improved his numbers time after time after time. And now he was put in a role that he's never been in before.
Yeah.
Probably took on more responsibility than he needed to. And it was a new situation. Like, again, I say give him time too.
But see, the thing is, the problem is if you do go out and get Westbrook, you're not going to have space. And you have Westbrook, RJ, Mitch, Randle. Like, that's going to be a log jam.
Terrible.
You're going to have no space in. So if you do get Westbrook, you have to trade Randle in that deal. But then if you're going to go the Van Vliet route, then maybe. But still, I want to stretch 4 in here or someone that can at least hit threes. Like Christian Wood or somebody that can just hit the three.
I don't know.
Hit the three.
You give me one of these. Give me one of these champion point guards, and get me a 3-and-D, like a defender that could guard LeBron and KD and Kawhi and them.
Do you need a veteran to be the 3-and-D guy, or can it be somebody out of the draft? Would you be okay with Devin Vassell, Tyler Bay?
I'm thinking Jeremy Grant.
I want a veteran, but I'm not opposed to drafting somebody who's being groomed in for the next 3 years.
Okay. All right.
But look, I don't care who it is. You can't put the best defender coming into the draft, you can't put him on LeBron James or KD or
So that's the point. Hey Tony, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm excited that you said that because that's the point I made the other night when I said Aaron Nesmith versus Darren Vassell. That even though Devin Vassell is an elite college defender, he's not coming into the NBA guarding Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kevin Durant, Pascal Siakam, Jimmy Butler, whoever it is that we play. Devin Vassell's college defensive skills will be mitigated at least until he learns. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to. He's not going. So I'm excited that you said that.
He might could guard two of them. You know what I mean? But he ain't gonna be like a stopper. You know what I mean? Like he might have somebody's number, or he might match up good against one of these guys. But he's not gonna be the guy that just locks down all. You know what I mean? All the elite guys.
Right. No doubt. I agree with you. I just think when you use basketball sense, you know what I'm saying? When you use just basketball experience, we know that college guys don't come to the NBA and is going to stop a Michael Jordan, a LeBron, Kevin Durant, something like that. That's just basketball sense right there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, a cat is not going to come into the NBA and average 35 points a game. It just, it's just not going to happen. But the reason why I asked you that is because if you use that logic that you just mentioned, say you get two veteran points, say you get Rondo and Augustine, right? One backs up the other, just for the argument's sake, right? You can get you a Jay Crowder. What's the cat New Jersey had that used to play for Toronto? The 3-and-D guy that started for. I see his name. I just can't remember his face.
You threw me off when you said New Jersey.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Brooklyn. The 3-and-D guy Brooklyn had. The guy with the dreads. I forget the catch.
Taurean Prince?
No, the guy before Taurean Prince. I think he played a season with Taurean Prince. You would see. I'll look it up. But to Tony Cross, so to Tony's point, I think if you go Devin Vassell, Aaron Nesmith, and Devin Vassell, Tyler Bay, if you sign Jay Crowder, Rondae Hollis Jefferson, some guys in that vein, I think you can use a 4-man rotation there where you can kind of get Jay Crowder for 2 years until the guys you drafted are ready, and then you can continue your process like that. Same thing at point guard. Like if you get a Rondo and a DJ Augustine, you can legit go and get you, a point guard in this draft. Like I'm just going to throw Terrell Terry's name out there. I don't think he'll be available for where we pick, but say you can get a Terrell Terry and include him into the 3-man rotation without much responsibility, and so you get the last ounces out of the careers of Rajon Rondo and DJ Augustine at the same time groom your point guard of the future. Now you didn't make any drastic moves, but at the same time your roster be full of depth and you'll be competitive every year.
If we got Rondo and Augustine, I'm probably not even drafting a point guard. I'm probably letting Frank get groomed by Rondo and
I like that.
And Augustine's spot is going to be rotated. You know what I mean? Like when I say rotated, I mean like Augustine's probably like a 1 year, and then we bring somebody in for 1 year, and then
right.
You know what I mean? Something like that.
Right. And so you can also do the same thing at center with Mitch. So instead of going and signing, say, a big time free agent to play Mitch's position, you can get somebody a similar archetype like a Nerlens Noel that can come off the bench behind Mitch. You know what I'm saying? And now you have the same thing where if Mitch is not productive, Nerlens Noel can play, and Nerlens Noel is used to the pressure because he should have been the number 1 pick in his class, except he tore his ACL at Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? And then so he rehabbed a year, or I think he was in Philly for 2 years or whatever, maybe 3 years.
So
you know what I'm saying? So there's a number of directions that you can go in. My fear is that if the Knicks are in a catbird seat and can make a major move, that we come out of the week and don't do a major move, and then we'll be back to where we were 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Hope somebody will come here in free agency next year. We have a whole bunch of cap space being dragged through the mud on ESPN. Like, oh, they have cap space. Is Giannis coming? See, I don't want to go through that, man. I'd rather go the winner this week and then move forward.
Let me make 2 points real quick. One about Jay Crowder. I'm real high on him too. My only concern is like he's in my mind he's very similar to Marcus Morris. And if I gotta choose, I probably would pick Marcus Morris just because I seen what he did here already. I'm talking about as far as defense. Like the offense is pretty much the same, but defense, they're tough defenders. They're not lockdown defenders.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're gonna play a guy tough. They're gonna rough him up a little bit. But they could be liabilities at times. I've seen it with both of them. Grant, he moves his feet a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like he plays defense with his feet, not with his body. He obviously he don't have the body to do that. But so that's my only concern with Crowder. Is he gonna come here and do the same thing that Morris did, where he put up good numbers, but was he really did he help the team? You know what I mean? Like even though Crowder's probably a better team player.
Yeah, and the guy I was talking about is this kid DeMarre Carroll. Y'all remember DeMarre Carroll from Toronto? So so you can get a guy like that who is at small forward, a really good screen setter, somebody that's always healthy, somebody that's going to knock down the open three. Then you're going to play the team game. And I think you can find a bunch of guys like that for $8 or $9 million that you can rotate at the wing positions that can guard 2 through 4. I mean, and I'm not saying strictly on 2s or strictly on 4s, but I'm saying is wing players like them cats like LeBron. You can rotate guys like that onto your LeBron James, your Kevin Durant's, your Jason Tatum's, and guys like that in our division. So because historically we hadn't had guys like that. Even when we brought Mo Harkless here, he was a sieve on defense because he just didn't want to be here. And you can tell, you can see it in his play.
Not for nothing. I'm hoping RJ becomes that. Like he has the body for it. He definitely has the mentality for it. Like he's not going back down from any one of these guys. You know what I mean? So I'm really hoping. I'm waiting for one of these guys to like try to expose him. Like, all right, I want RJ to guard me every time type situation. Because that's what you know what I mean? Like challenge him.
Right.
Because I haven't seen him back down from a challenge yet.
Right. And so Jay Dill's Direct would suggest that Michael Kidd Gilchrist. And I think I think Michael Kidd Gilchrist archetype, that Stanley Johnson, Isaac Okoro archetype. I don't know. What's the long-term benefit from bringing in Michael Kidd Gilchrist? He doesn't handle, he doesn't shoot. He's a tough basketball player, but what does he bring outside of athleticism at his size?
We had him already.
And who?
You don't remember?
Who?
Lance Thomas.
Basically. Like, do you want to bring Lance Thomas back though? I mean, not Lance Thomas himself. I'm talking about a player of that type.
No.
Right.
We tried that already, man.
Right.
It was a roster spot.
Right. So I'm in the mind, like with me, I don't want to bring in like one-dimensional defensive dudes. So that's the reason why I say, like, based on what you said, I would prefer to bring in DeMarre Carroll, Jay Crowder type that I know can knock down open threes. But what I don't want to do is bring in a guy that can only defend one position and gives you nothing on offense, like a Stanley Johnson. Like Stanley Johnson gives you nothing on offense and very good at one thing defensively, but when you ask him to do something else, he can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Which hurts the team, which hurts your young guy like RJ Barrett, because you'll give that guy minutes, and those minutes are unproductive minutes when they could be experienced minutes for a young guy like RJ Barrett or Kevin Knox. And I know some people say minutes are minutes, but minutes are not minutes. Some minutes get wasted. Like I felt like last year we wasted minutes on Mo Harkless when we could have given those minutes to Kevin Knox and allowed him to play through mistakes. And even though Kevin Knox was a train wreck, he would have at least been learning on the floor, as opposed to a guy we gave minutes to and he's not even a part of the long-term plan.
100%, man.
Yeah. So I kind of agree with you there. But if you bring in my preference is now, and I just want to state this clearly because I think people know already. But my preference is, instead of a Rondo and say Augustine, I prefer to bring in Westbrook, right? Bring in Westbrook, maybe bring in another veteran, depending on who you want to draft. So if you draft Devin Vassell at 8, I don't want to block him getting on the floor. So if you draft a Devin Vassell, I say draft a different position, maybe like a big. I mean, bring in like somebody that's going to back him up, like a Damari Carroll, who can play behind Devin Vassell, same size, do the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? That way you can groom your guys. So it'll be Westbrook, RJ, Vassell, Damari Carroll, your Jay Crowder. What you do with Julius Randle, I'm not for certain. Because in your argument for Julius Randle improvement over a 3-year stretch, what we didn't discuss though is his lack of improvement on defense. Like his defensive statistics are horrible except for when he plays center, right? And then when he plays center, you really can't even judge those in a linear way, because at center the basketball is being brought to him. He doesn't have to chase it. You know what I'm saying? So
that's playing to his strength.
Right. So it's one of those deals where Julius Randle's defensive numbers look better in a sense, but it's because he got a lot of minutes at center for the New Orleans Pelicans. But you know who else looked good at playing center for the New Orleans Pelicans? Jahlil Okafor, and he was terrible on D. So in a sense, I kind of like the Julius thing where he did improve. I don't like the fact that on tape, like when myself and Guillermo and whoever look at tape of Julius and the Knicks defense, what we see is a dude that doesn't give effort because he feels like he's the man. Like he feels like he should only exert effort on offense because he's the number one option. And right. And in the NBA, a lot of number one options don't feel like they should contribute on being it's too hard to be lockdown defender and number one option. It's why guys like to team up and form like big threes, because like a Kawhi Leonard, it could be the number one guy on defense, but his offense is valuable too. You know what I'm saying? And without, say, a guy beside him, it's just too much work for him to do. The same thing with the Paul George. People wonder why Paul George's numbers say suffer in the playoff, but when you the number one defensive guy defending all types of high scoring wings, you can't expect elite level offense all the time. And so it's the same thing with Julius Randle, where you get Randle, the number one option. He feels like he hadn't had to do anything on D. It's not fair to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Because when you watch Julius Randle on a fast break, if he has the ball in his hand, he'll push it and go. Like he grabbed some rebounds and pushed it and threw lobs to Mitch last year. But when RJ or a guard got the ball, he was trailing the play. You know what I'm saying? In that weird no man's land where you don't want your big man to be. You need your big man to run from basket to basket. Soon as there's a rebound, you run from basket to basket. But number one scorers don't want to do that.
You know where I think he would be great at? Miami. Just in the sense that they will transform him.
Right.
Right. You know what I mean? Like they will turn him into it won't be no trail in the play. You know what I mean? Like he'll be running every time. And if he just did that's why he needs. I wouldn't mind Randle if we had a lead point guard, a veteran, somebody who's going to tell him to run. Chris Paul's going to tell him to run. Westbrook is probably going to tell him to run too. I'm not down on Westbrook. The only thing that scares me is his shooting. his shooting with RJ's shooting,
Right.
like
the lane's gonna be clogged up.
And we would have to get rid of Randall. If we got one of these other guards, I think we could keep Randall.
Right, and I don't think the spacing issue is just a clog the paint issue. I think it's a low IQ youngsters issue. Like when you watch Knicks games, right? Julius Randle will catch the ball at the elbow, and 8 feet away would be Dennis Smith Jr. And Randall would look at him like, "What the hell are you doing right here? Go take your ass in the corner." You know what I'm saying? Why are you less than 15 feet? You're supposed to be 15 feet, 12 to 15 feet away from the closest offensive man. You know what I'm saying? Why are you right here bringing your man, and now I have to shoot a pass with 2 people's arms up there? You know, go to the court. It's the same thing with Knox. Not to me, once Knox learns how to play basketball, he'll be ferocious. My only thing is he does stuff like they're running pick and roll up at the top of the key, and he's jogging up from the defensive end, running down the middle of the floor. If Mitch is already screening, why are you running down the middle of the floor to go to your spot? Run to the wing. You're a wing player. You know what I'm saying? Now you congesting the offense before the play gets started, right? And now instead of covering Knox, you got 3 men with their arms up covering 2 offensive players. You know what I mean? And even if the defense doesn't strip the ball, you wasted like 7 seconds on the shot clock just trying to organize. Like, Knox, take your ass to the corner. You just wasted like 5, 6, 7 seconds. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing I like about Frank, right? The Frank will see that. Like if Elfrid Payton is running the pick and roll and Frank sees the play coming his way, he will vacate the area so you can set up the play, right? And people is like, well, why did Frank run to the corner? Because he don't want to be there to impede the progress of the ball handler or have his defender be in the same space. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things I like about Frank. The thing about Knox, Taj Gibson did it this year. DSJ did it. When we're set to organize a play, whether they're in the play or off the ball, they crowd around other players. Like Taj, if you know they're running the screen and roll, don't go stand on the box. You know the play is coming towards the rim. Why are you standing on the box? You should evacuate that area off to a wing, even if you're not going to shoot the ball, right? And then when they rotate to the basket, you rotate out of the way. I know you want to grab an offensive rebound, but offensive rebounding is like 20%. 20% of the shots that go up that are missed are going to be offensive rebounds. So why are you down there when you can be getting back on defense or at least spacing the floor? I mean, it's small things in the Knicks offense that people think the spacing is just 3-point shooting, and it's not. If Knox could go into a deep corner as opposed to a short wing when Julius Randle has the ball, now he's 22 feet away in real space as opposed to being 8 feet away, where a guy can jab at Julius Randle and stay with Knox. I mean, it's just small stuff like that. Like, they have to get their basketball IQs up in order for the team to be better.
I will say that Tibbs is going to change a lot of that. Like, a lot of that. So we're gonna see an improvement from the players that are still Knicks. We're gonna see an improvement, or we're not gonna see them. Like Tibbs, it's like Jeff Van Gundy, man. Like Tibbs is gonna lay the law down.
Hey, hold on, Tony. Let me. Oh, look who's in the building. Hey, what's good, man? What's good?
All right. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Hey, your audio is a little crackly. What kind of device you on? A phone?
Yeah, I can go on my computer, but it was on the phone. I was on the phone.
Hey, wait. Hey, he sound good to y'all?
Yeah,
I
can hear.
Okay. Hey, so you good? You good now, fam?
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, so I'm sorry. Hey, I'm sorry about that, Tony.
Nah, you good, man.
I just gotta shout my people out. My people coming on. My people showing up, man, in the middle of the night, bro. Knicks at night. We got 30 people watching on YouTube. Knicks at night. There's something right here, boy. Hey, shout out to my dog. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Thank y'all. Hey, man, y'all hit that like button. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Let's get this YouTube algorithm picking things up so we can share this Knicks talk with people all around the world, man. So people can find this on YouTube so they can tune in and hear Tony Crow break down the Knicks roster. Yeah, man.
I love it.
Hey, my man,
nah, I don't even. I think I was done, honestly, man. But
okay.
It's straight defense next year, and if you ain't playing defense, you ain't gonna make it on the floor. So I think that's just gonna be a big thing. That's why I think Randall ain't gonna be here. I mean, me personally. So,
what I think what they might do is try and use Randall as much and try and get trade value up, and then trade him at the deadline.
He's been hyping him.
Try and get another pick out of him.
Tiz been hyping him this offseason, talking about he's the ultimate professional.
Yeah.
Saying all these.
He's the ultimate professional, so he understands when he gets traded. That's the way I took it.
Yep.
It was like, yeah, he's a professional. He knows the business. He out of here.
But I will say he do look.
You can't. If we do get Russ, you can't have Randall and Russ together. There's gonna be no spacing. So you have to bring in a stretch 4, and I don't know what stretch 4 to go for. I like Christian Wood, but I don't know, was his numbers legit or was it just because it was a small sample size?
Yeah, I like Jeremy Grant. I see Christian Wood. I just ain't seen enough.
Yeah,
right.
That's the same with me. Grant's been doing the same thing for the last 3 or 4 years since he got drafted. So you kind of know what you're getting from him. But the thing is, he needs to take more threes. The volume of threes are very low. I think he was only shooting like 4 threes a game at 40%.
Yo, Freezy.
Yo.
You know what I was just thinking? Last year, I also was the one that was on Jimmy Butler and got killed in the chat too.
Yeah.
I know. Hey, I was one of the ones killing you in the chat for Jimmy Butler. Yeah, man.
But because I think Westbrook could have a similar effect as a Jimmy Butler. The only thing that will probably restrict him from getting a team like ours to the finals, and I'm talking about Westbrook now, is he doesn't have the basketball IQ as Jimmy Butler. He's way more talented. They got the same heart, the same fight, the same things that I wanted Butler for. Like Westbrook has that and some, but he don't have the IQ.
Right.
Like he'll will us to the AFC, maybe even 60 if we lucky.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially
you know what I mean?
Numbers what he done over the last couple of years in the West, he'll easily do that, and he'll do that in his sleep in the East.
But it'll be like he's like little Giannis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So we got to put shooters around him if we get him.
That's
why
you gotta have roster stability too. You need to get Russ in here. You can get shooters on 3-year deals, and that you have to go with that team for the next 3 years instead of this roster turnover. Because it's insane when you look at the charts, the amount of roster turnoffs the Knicks have done in the last 10 years. Every year the roster turnover is 60%.
Who do you think currently on our roster fits well next to Westbrook?
I think RJ. I think the pick and roll with Mitch would be nice. They'll work together. Actually, Russ will make Mitch a lot better. I'm trying to think who else.
That's it.
Yeah. Unless
we got one guy.
Together. The two
Got to get him help.
I would like to see. I could see him working very well with Iggy.
Yeah.
What? What'd you say?
He had a lot of
say that again.
Westbrook and Iggy. running the floor.
Hey, you gotta explain that one to me. You gotta explain that one to me, dog.
Freeze, I mean, did you watch much of the Westchester Knicks, the G League? When you look at Iggy, to me, he's not a 3 or he's not a 4. He's in the middle. He's a little bit slow on defense, but that kid can shoot the lights out. He'd be very good coming off the bench, stretching that floor.
And he's a guy that slashes at the right time.
Yeah,
RJ slashes, but he has to have the ball already. He's like backdoor cuts. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking of the way Westbrook drives to the basket and kind of dishes to a guy cutting to the basket for like a dunk. I can see Iggy filling that role next to RJ very well, and then also on the kick out for the 3.
Right. Yeah. What we need around Russ is you need guys that have high percentage of corner threes, because you're gonna have a lot of plays where Russ is going straight for the basket and kicking it out for them corner threes. So you need guys like, I think Frank might work well with Westbrook. If you have a lineup,
and you know what, and Iggy also has that dog in him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Iggy has that dog in him also. My concern is him not being able to beat players off the dribble, right? Not because it's just handle, because I think his handle is not great, but it's crafty enough for him, right?
I don't think he would need to.
But in terms of foot speed, though, I don't see him, being able to. And then at the same time, I don't know who he'll guard once we score. Like once we score a basket and have to go back on the other side of the floor, who does Iggy guard? Do you hide him in some type of 3-2 zone type situation? Yeah. I mean, I just don't.
I don't think he's a guy you necessarily have to hide.
He can defend. He's too slow to guard threes, and he's not strong enough to guard 4s.
Right.
I think
but you know what?
Guard 4s maybe a little bit better. But
this offseason he got big. Y'all seen him lately?
No, he got bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He been in that weight room.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. That's what you need around the Knicks is gym rats. That's what Iggy probably is, just a gym rat.
I thought it was Photoshop, but
me too. I said,
yeah, he looked ripped.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, I can see that, and that's a good thing for us. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you can see development in guys. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a really good thing.
I think there was like three players I've seen in the weight room a lot this offseason. It was
DSJ
Frank.
Was one of them.
It was RJ and
Iggy, yeah.
Right.
I seen a story where it's like RJ is a routine where he gets up at 6 a.m. There's a 4-hour workout, goes for food. There's another 2-hour workout, and then before at night, there's another 2 or 3 hours. And a lot of them are he's doing a lot of work on his shooting. So don't be surprised if the kid knocks them maybe 36 or 37% coming into this year. I think he could be close to 40% shooter. Because he just
and so the thing with RJ though, is people sleep on RJ. They say he's a bad shooter, but what people don't realize, and I know I say this like every other stream, people are like, oh, here going with it. But the thing is at the beginning of the season with Fizdale, RJ was shooting 40% from the 3-point line. I think it was like 40.1 or something like that with Fizdale, but his free throw percentage was 40.1. You know what I'm saying? So we're like, oh my God, this kid's gonna be decent. He just can't hit free throws. And then he went on and shot 33%, and then he hurt himself. He had a high ankle sprain. And for those of y'all that know what a high ankle sprain kept Saquon Barkley out last year with the Giants for 7 weeks. Mm-hmm. RJ came back in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And RJ plays it, and I know running backs cut just like NBA players or whatever. But what I'm saying is playing on a high ankle sprain is tough. But once he got over the high ankle sprain, you saw his 3-point numbers start to climb again, and even his free throw numbers. Like his free throw percentage got up to about 75% in the games that he played when he was young. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So the RJ Barrett can't shoot thing is real, but it's not a death sentence. Like RJ Barrett has the potential to become a decent shooter. It's not like, he's a Russell Westbrook type that has played 10 plus seasons and his 3-point percentage can't get up to a certain number. RJ has the potential to be that and defend. You saw RJ defend against I think it was I don't know if it was the Rockets game. Well, I don't know if it was the right, but you saw RJ defend the Rockets' multiple wing players.
He was held
his own. I thought Eric Gordon was going to cook him, but he didn't. You know what I'm saying? So RJ has potential. And somebody asked me when Tony Crow was talking about Uncle Tony was talking about the youngsters, keeping the youngsters, and somebody in the chat said, "Well, who's a potential star out of those youngsters that we have?" And we didn't get a chance to talk to that point, but I think RJ Barrett is the burgeoning superstar for the New York Knicks. And the reason why, and I'm gonna point out these two things just real quick.
Yeah.
Right. So for one, in order for you to be a superstar in the league, you got to be able to do something that the league can't stop. Right. Like you legit have to do something that the league cannot stop. Like for instance, James Harden, you can't stop him from getting off his 3-pointer. Right, because he'll do the stepdaddy. He'll sauce you up and get it off. And if you play him too close, he'll go by you, and it's unstoppable because he can sauce you up, shoot the 3, or go to the basket. Right. The thing that RJ Barrett brings to the basket, and I know people talk about limited athleticism, but RJ Barrett is unstoppable going to the basket with guys his size.
Strong, yeah.
Because he's strong and crafty and has a little Euro step. Right. So if he can get. And like people knock his finishing, but people forget that he was playing on a bum ankle. It is what it is. It is what it is. He played on the bum ankle. It is what it is. You know, he missed some shots. Your resume is what says what you really are, and so that's what it is. You can't reverse those numbers or make excuses.
Is that who you think is going to be the most improved player next year under this Tibbs regime?
Well, let me finish with this second point. I'm gonna finish with the second point, and then I'll go to that. So RJ Barrett has something unstoppable. He got to the free throw line the same amount of times as Donovan Mitchell, right? And people say, well, Donovan Mitchell, he's unstoppable, whatever, blah, 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 right? So he got to the free throw line at the same rate as Spotter Mitchell, right? That means, hey, he gets through as a rookie, he was getting to the line, getting those calls. And the second thing you need to have as a superstar is that unquenchable thirst to be great, right? The unquenchable desire to be great and want to win at all costs. I feel like I can go to RJ Barrett right now and say, listen, would you rather snatch out your opponent's heart and eat their bleeding heart to win a championship, or would you rather let them live? And he was like, well, I got a whole bunch of opponents. What's the point of me, saving this one? You know what I'm saying? To me, that's what RJ Barrett is. RJ Barrett, they say Mamba or Maple Mamba. I think that the thing is with certain NBA players, their desire to win is so unquenchable that they'll do whatever it takes to be great. And I think RJ has that. So he has a requisite skill that the one skill that people can't stop. And some superstars have multiple skills. But I think in order to be on a path to become a superstar, you have to have at least one. And I think RJ has that, right? But at the same time, you also have to have that unquenchable desire to win. Like wanting to win is one thing, but the unquenchable desire to win is something else. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody on the Knicks want to win. Everybody on the Knicks roster, all 30 teams want to win every night. But do you have that unquenchable desire to do whatever it takes to win a game and to win a championship? I think RJ Barrett has that. And to be honest with you, I can't remember the last time a Knicks player had that thing, that 3 inches between his chest bones, that strong that they want to win at all costs.
See, my thing with RJ, and people were complaining about RJ, he didn't have a good rookie year. You have to put into account, he averaged 15 points with no spacing, no jump shot, and bad free throws. This year, when you fix the jump shot and you give him spacing, he's scoring over 20 easily. So this year, that's what I'm saying. This year is going to be a breakout year for him. If he gets that free throw percentage back up into the 70s and can shoot maybe 35% from 3, he's going to get 23, 24 points a game next year.
Here's the thing with RJ shooting. They talk about he's a bad shooter, but if you compare, I'm not comparing him per se. But Luka Doncic, first year, what he shot 31%. The next year, shot 32%, or vice versa. But he hits, big shots. That's the same thing that RJ has. RJ has heart. He'll take those big shots. His shooter's gonna get better. He's
too much of a hard worker for it not to get better.
Right.
Like they say,
and he's done things already to let you know he'll do whatever it takes. Like, for instance, he hired a shooting coach in January when people were criticizing him about his shot form. So he immediately went out and got hired a shooting coach to take on the road with him. And you know what? And you know what shooting coaches ask? You got to pay them like $800,000, some up to like $1 million. That's what you have to pay them to travel on the road with you. Like the cat Dirk Nowitzki had. Dirk had to pay him $1 million a year. You know what I'm saying? Because the dude was literally following the team and moving from hotel room, doing the same thing with the team. You know what I'm saying? RJ Barrett did that on his rookie contract. He took instead of buying an expensive Benz, you know what I'm saying, or buying a house in some place that we can't even pronounce. He bought a shooting coach. He bought the services of a shooting coach. And if that don't impress you as a Knicks fan, look at what other lottery picks didn't do. Like for instance, Clyde Frazier said Frank Ntilikina never even came to me for tips about playing point guard in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? RJ Barrett hired a shooting coach to travel with him half the season. Think about that, half the season. And you saw his numbers climb towards the end of the year. Like in February, I think March, he shot 75% from the free throw line. So it's small. Like when you ask a question, like if you ask a question about who a guy will be in such and such like projected amount of time, you have to look at like the details. How committed is he to his craft? Like the rumor about Kevin Knox is he plays Fortnite to early AM hours. The rumors about RJ is that he hired a shooting coach to take him on the road.
The major adjustment the shooting coach made. The major adjustment the shooting coach made was that he had him form a triangle when he's shooting. What happened before was that his left arm was blocking his vision. And so when I watched, the shooting coach had him create that triangle, which opened up his vision. So hopefully, that'll manifest.
Right.
So what I noticed about RJ last year too, he got a lot better after we traded Morris. That had a big impact on him.
No longer the third option, right?
I got a better question. What are we doing with Mitch?
I'm keeping Mitch up until you have to extend him.
I'm just talking about the offseason. Every time I see Mitch, he's shooting the ball, dribbling, like he a point guard. Like I don't see no down low. I don't see him doing no post moves. I don't see.
Yeah, that's just them fooling around. He ain't gonna. If he does that in a real game, Tibbs is sitting him for the year. If he tries doing any of that, I think
not if he score.
If I don't see him take one jump shot this next season, I'm gonna be pissed because all this offseason I've been seeing him dribbling, shooting the most jump shots I've ever seen him shoot in life.
I don't want to take him taking jump shots. The only jump shots I want him taking is if he's out on the 3-point line and there's none of his guy didn't go with him, just left him open. Then you take them shots.
I want him to take any open shot. I wanted to see.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like wide open shots.
Yeah,
like you see some of these bigs. They'll be wide open and they'll just pass it. They'll be afraid to shoot it. I think
he might be the fastest center in the league. You know, that's the crazy part. I think he might be the fastest center in the league. If he just get an elbow shot,
that's it.
Mitch gonna be a problem.
He needs to develop a hook shot as well.
Hook shot, elbow shot, right?
Yeah,
that's
hook shot,
and
a little bit of a post game.
So one other thing about Mitch, and I think I said it in one of the other streams. I just want to reiterate it right here in just a few seconds. The thing about Mitch is when he catches the ball on offense, he doesn't present himself to be an offensive threat. He's just like a way station. Like you give Mitch the ball, and he's just going to wait there until the offensive player gets it, right? Like Mitch catches the ball, doesn't get in the triple threat, not a threat to shoot, not a threat to pass, not a threat to dribble, right? He's just standing there with the ball until a guard comes and gets it. And he fakes a screen and rolls to the basket. And that's where he eats, right? Mitch eats in that lob situation, right? But if Mitch caught the ball and pump faked or pivoted a foot.
He got to shoot first. He got to shoot before he pump fake.
But I was gonna get to that. My point is if he makes himself a threat with the ball, right? The defender has to play him up close. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, like in this scenario, it's just like what Tony said. When he catches the ball and the defender doesn't come up to him and present himself as a defender, Mitch has to shoot the ball, right? It makes no sense for you to catch the ball at 13 feet and your defender is sagging off playing baseline, basically playing center field because they know you're not going to shoot. So not only is that defender playing you, but he's also playing the entire game. So one defender is playing 3 offensive players. Now that creates the spacing issue. So if the defender closes that space, and puts his hand on Mitch and with one hand up, now when Mitch runs that pick and roll, you get a cleaner pick and roll to the basket because Mitch sets the screen and a body has to go around Mitch, which creates the 2-on-1 going to the basket, right? So then what do? Do you defend Mitch or do you defend the pick and roll handler, right? So they say they bring 2 or 3 people in the paint. Now the ball handler can kick out to those corner threes that'll be wide ass open, right? Wide open. Your Damian Dotson getting wide open looks from 3. And say Dot only hits 40%, right? That is 40% from corner 3. That basically, if you run that consistently, that basically gets your team to the playoffs. You don't have to have one name player to shoot from there. But if you get a bunch of guys knocking down that corner 3, teams have to adjust their defense. Now if teams adjust their defense, right, and say they don't give up the corner 3, now they're going to let Mitch dunk all night, right? Or let the pick and roll handler dunk all night, or teardrop or runner all night. You can't defend all 3 with 3 or 4 players. It's the reason why we run the pick and roll in the first place, because as soon as the steady screen is hit by Mitch, it creates the 2-on-1 odd man break to the basket where you have to stop the handler or stop the roller or stop the dude in the corner for 3. And if Mitch presents himself and what makes this offense better is as soon as Mitch makes one of those shots, the defender has to come up and defend him. You know what I'm saying? Now it's cleaner. It's a cleaner run towards the basket. Like Teddy just said, Mitch is probably the fastest center in the NBA. What big is going to beat Mitch to the rim, running to the rim? Who's going to out-jump him on the lob? You know what I'm saying? Or whatever point guard you insert, say Rondo. Who's going to stop Rondo from scoring from 8 feet? A wide open shot. Or Rajon Rondo, or DJ Augustine, or whatever, Frank Ntilikina, whoever. Or if they collapse, who's going to stop your Devin Vassell, your Damian Dotson, your RJ Barrett, whoever, from knocking down that corner 3 at a respectable percentage? So it's one of those deals, like it's on Mitch in order to turn the offense around, I think, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and at the same time, you notice I didn't mention in that pick and roll scenario that there was another big on the floor. I think Mitch will eat and start scoring more once you take another big off the floor where he can occupy in space against one individual big. Like how can Jokic defend Mitchell Robinson when Mitch is on offense?
What I like to see Mitch do a little bit more is get into the passing game, little handoffs. Because you don't see him, he needs to move the ball a little bit more. Seeing with him, it's either blocking on defense or dunking or doing alley-oops. I think he needs to get in and set up a little bit of a post game, get a hook, and definitely the 3-point shot. When you think about the 3-point, is he able to maybe knock 1 3-point?
Joe was talking, he just disappeared. Well, okay, all right. Hey, his battery must be low. Hey, so what you think about the ideas?
I think it's a great idea. It just makes me think Julius ain't made for the team even more when you talk about it.
You gotta come off that bench.
Well, I think if Mitch took that 13-foot shot, it would open up. It would open up a spot for Randall to be on that floor, because, like you were saying, knowing that he's not a threat, he's at the free throw line or a little bit behind the free throw line. Mitchell Robinson has the ball. The guy who's defending him is not defending him. If Julius is in the post, he's making sure that entry pass can't go to the post. which is negating Julius being there. If he takes that shot, now that opens it up.
Hey, could you imagine Randall setting a screen for Mitch?
No, I don't see. No.
Hey, we talking hypotheticals.
I don't think either shot is proficient enough to threaten the defense, and Mitch's handle is definitely not good enough to present to propose or threaten an opposing defense. You know, say for instance, I'll use the Lakers as an example. If you have Randall and Mitch on the floor, they could just run one big and JaVale McGee, and what happens is when Mitch come up, JaVale McGee is not gonna defend Mitch. He's gonna sag back and play the rim, like play rim protection, right? So say Mitch, dribbles or does something. JaVale McGee is not going to respect that until he sees Mitch do it on tape prior to the game, like 4 or 5 times, or do it 3 or 4 times to him, which makes the Lakers think, oh, snap, they found a leak in our defense. We need to make an adjustment. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of just game planning it going in, I don't see where a scenario where Mitch and Randall can coexist in the screen because it brings too many bigs, too much length to the point of attack. You bring in 7-footers to where the ball is out on the perimeter. I don't know if that'll work or not.
It's got to be at the free throw line. Like, it can't be out on a perimeter. But anywhere in that free throw area, Mitch is one dribble and dunking it. Like he could literally take one step off the dribble from the 3-point line and dunk it. So you get him in that foul line area, and because at that point, a guy like McGee has to come out.
Right.
He can't be. It's 3 seconds. You know what I mean? So he has to come out. So in that sense, I could see it.
Reggie Bullock. What's his role?
Keeper.
Right. Is he a starter off the bench with Russ?
Off the bench. He might be a starter if depending on how free agency goes. He may be a starter because we need a shooter out there.
If we got Westbrook, he got to be a starter.
Yeah. Right. 3-and-D on the cheap. 3-and-D on the cheap.
Yep.
Then all we have to worry about is the 4 position. If Randall comes off the bench, that's up for grabs.
I think Randall actually be good if he's like the 3rd option.
That's what I'm saying. I agree. That's how.
I just don't say Randall is going to be a 3rd option when you don't know who the 2nd option is going to be. I think if you have more of a defined role, I think everybody will be more inclined to accept that role and rock with it. You know what I'm saying? Because Randall is 19-9, right? And if I told you that Kristaps Porzingis was 19-9, people would be like, well, yeah, Porzingis, but Randall puts up the same numbers as Porzingis, except at a lower 3-point percentage. Right.
So I think the point in terms of like with RJ, his development is putting that label on him as a number 2 option. If you got a Westbrook as the number 1, we want to develop RJ. You have that number 2. You got the green light as number 2.
Right.
That's how I see
it. That would be my argument. Because
is a free agent. So you like for the Knicks to sign him back and get minutes? And if you want the Knicks to sign him back, what would you sign him back to? Like, what would be a legit contract for Damian Dotson?
What was he making before? Let me pull it up. I like Dot.
I like Dot too.
I do too, but
I think
he's expendable.
In the wrong situation. It's unfortunate. Dot's in an unfortunate situation.
They didn't use him right.
Yeah, he put up identical numbers to Ellington in less time, but the numbers were spot on identical. And I'm like, if you're getting the same production from the veteran than you are from a guy who fits the timeline, play the guy who fits the timeline.
Right.
And it just seemed like, he built with the young guys. They got a chemistry. That's my thing.
He's a team player. Dot made 1.6 last year, right? 1.6 million.
I'll double that.
Right, easily.
But for how many? For how long? Dot's not going to want a long-term deal at 3.2. So you give him two years, 6.4 mil.
I do something better. Yeah.
Can we use that minimum exception on him? The 5.7.
I give him 3 years, 10 million.
Wow,
Tony.
I
ain't gonna. I would give him a little more than that, but
yeah, I give him 3 years, 12 million, 4 million a year.
Hey, so Bodega Wi-Fi pointed out something that I wanted to say to y'all. My only trepidation with Damian Dotson is you never get Dotson at 100% health. You always see Dotson's numbers at 80%. So it's tantalizing to think what he could be when he's healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like he came off 1 year, he had a shoulder injury, and so he came back and he played about 60% as his numbers were trash. And then he came back the fifth year, came back, injured the other shoulder, needed surgery, decided to play through it, and I think he was putting up like 12 or 13 points a game when Fitz was dishing out the did not play the DNPs to everybody, the random DNPs, to get everybody hungry, right? My thing is Dot, if we can ever get Dot at 100% health, I think Dot is a 15 point per game scorer and a good team defender, right? And I know 15 points per game sounds like a lot, but the potential is there. And we see it through him, with him playing through injuries. Like the kid is legit only playing 75% like the last 3 years, right? What if Dot changed something, like his diet, something? You know what I'm saying?
He's always been great. Like get fit. Off-season fitness.
But my point is Dot knows that if I'm telling y'all that, Dot knows this as well. Dot knows, hey man, I just need a 1 year prove it deal where I'm completely healthy so I can get the bag, right?
But they always said Dot was the hardest worker on the team. He always got praised for that. It just we assign players that and diminish his role, and I think he'd be a great.
Dot at the per 36 minutes, he's gonna give us what you just mentioned, like 15 points, 36% from three.
I think he should be coming out the bit. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I think if we did get Westbrook, it'd be interesting to see what happens with Frank and DSJ. But if we keep DSJ, I can see him and DSJ working well with him still hitting corner shots, with him coming out the pick and roll as well, like what Westbrook does.
My only trepidation though is when are we gonna see Dot at 100% health?
It's a long off season. Hopefully this.
Yeah, because some guys legit can't hold up to the NBA pounding, and it's not a heart issue. It's just bodies just can't. You know what I'm saying? Is when do you transform your body? Do you go from 213 or whatever he is to maybe try to get to 220? Does that make you slower or faster if you rip up and get more shred? It's a lot of things that go into that. In my opinion, do you keep Dot around to see if he can break out of that? Or Tony, what you think about that?
I think he's had good enough stretches to prove that.
It's a low investment too. Low investment.
Yeah, like I don't even want to go there, man, because I was just thinking some crazy. Let me ask y'all this: what would make RJ expendable?
Nah, dogs.
I'm just out of curiosity.
I'll give you one. Kevin Booker.
Devin Booker.
Devin Booker.
Would you take like 2 first-round picks for him, like one of the top 3 picks this year and next year pick first rounder?
2 draft picks and our best player RJ. That's it.
Say what?
So you could take the 2 first rounders of this year and RJ for Devin Booker.
No. I'm saying just like not Devin Booker. Would you just take 2 picks for him?
Nah.
It depends. Those picks have to be mighty nice. Like those 2 picks have to be in next year's draft. They can't be in this year's draft.
Oh yeah, it couldn't be this year's.
Yeah, like a LaMelo Ball / Desmond Bane would be intriguing. My only deal is LaMelo Ball gonna be the future? You know, RJ is the future right now, and
RJ has too much potential. I just don't see it.
And not just that, he committed. He wanted New York. You know what I'm saying? That's karma. You don't like when nobody else wanted New York, he wanted New York.
Right. No doubt. I agree. I agree with my man. He want to be here. You know what I'm saying? And it's a difference between wanting to be here and wanting to get that NBA check. You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, you know, wanting to get that NBA check is nice. Buying houses for your mom, driving in a fancy car, eating these foods that you only saw in rapper videos. That's good. But wanting to rip your opponent hard out and win a championship, I don't want to lose. I'll do anything to win at all costs. Hey, man, you don't find it often.
That's why KP will never get love again.
Not from me.
KP don't want to be here. He will never get love again.
Nah, Hexy, nah. And Karma working on KP right now.
Yeah.
One game in April in this whole tenure. It's fragile.
Yeah, very, very fragile. But you know what though? The thing with players that have gone and moved on to other places, you know, when they point back to New York, the one thing they can't say is that the fan base ain't hungry. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing. They can talk trash about the front office all they want, but at the end of the day, I was in a spot one time and fans had bags on their head. You know what I'm saying? And I was so mad. I'm like, y'all got bags on you. You know the camera ain't gonna come to us. The camera gonna go over to y'all fools with them damn bags in y'all head. You know what I'm saying? So you know, it is what it is, man. When it comes to that, man. But I got one more thing, Tony. I want to run by you before I jump off this marathon, because I want to be up at 12 to go. I want to jump back on at 12 o'clock too. But do you think Tom Thibodeau's style will work in New York, seeing that the NBA landscape has changed, say, over the last 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why.
One of the few places it'll work. It started here.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. He's
from the Van Gundy, Pat Riley tree.
Right.
Like,
he represents that grit. Yeah. He got that New York grit. Now, if you talk about like the flow of the game and stuff like that, I know he mentioned something about one of the things in his offense is that corner three. Having dudes break down the defense and kicking out to that corner three. He wants dudes to be able to shoot that corner three. You know? And you know, so it's not like the game has left him. He understands, you know, the importance of the three ball, but he's New York City grit, yo. Right. He's grit. Right. He's New York made.
Right. So the thing about Thibodeau is I feel like you don't have to do high ball screen, pick and roll offense to get corner threes. You don't have to do that. You don't necessarily have to run a 1-4 motion where the motion set screens for other players. It's kind of like a Golden State Warriors, where just the fact that a motion offense creates screens for other players just by, you know, running an organic offense, right? You don't have to run like those type of offenses in order to get to that 105, 110 scoring average, that barrier or whatever. Yeah, I think what you could probably do is look at their roster and see what you have, right? Look at the roster, see what you have, and design something metamorphic for them. Like Mike Woodson tried to do with Melo and that ISO ball, right? He did ISO on one side of the floor and back screens on the other side, so that if Melo drove to the basket, he could kick out to a shooter that had a wide open shot. The only thing about that is when you confine 4 people to one side of the floor, people get injured, and not like big injuries. Like they stay bruised up because they stay screening for each other while one dude is on the other side of the floor, ISO and triple threatening and all that stuff. So you always have Knicks and you always banged up basically. The thing I would say about Thibodeau is look at your offense. Like say before you put your offense in place, see who you have. Right. So if you have Westbrook, I say run high screen pick and roll with Westbrook and Mitchell Robinson, who are probably ranks top 3 in athleticism at their position. Right. Run something like that. Get you some shooters from Westbrook, and you don't have to get all veterans or all rookies. You can get you a mix. Get you a couple of knockdown, historically good shooters, veterans, some professionals, and then get you some talent in the draft. And then hopefully some of the guys on your bench, like Damian Dotson, like who we just mentioned, will be coming along and progressing. Kevin Knox's and people like that will also be progressing, so they can also be added into the mix. Defensively, what I don't want him to do is do the defenses he did in the past because I think they're predictable. I think it's too much to take. Right, I think what you can only ice pick and roll, force it to the sidelines so much. You know what I'm saying? I think what we should do is look at what Nick Nurse did with Toronto when they have a lot of long defenders: Norm Powell, OG Anunoby, Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol, Pascal Siakam. Maybe do some type of morph of a 3-2 zone, like flip it where cats can't get that 3-point shot off, and at the same time they can't drive the lane either. I think that might be the wave. Now we saw how it frustrated. We saw how it frustrated Giannis. We saw how it frustrated Ben Simmons. I think that's probably what we should probably try to mix some of that into because New Yorkers are hell bent and locked on hard nosed man to man D. And if we just bring that, then you're talking about finding 3 or 4 elite defenders, and that's probably harder to do than finding 3 or 4 knockdown 40% shooters on the same team.
Interesting. All right, rock with that. Well, Tibbs had a long time off, right?
It's alternative though. So what do you think Tibbs need to do?
Well, I'll tell you one thing about them that defense, that 2-3 zone. Giannis and Simmons can't shoot. Like that's something that's going to be used against us with a Westbrook. You know what I mean? Like shooting negates all that. Right. Whether we're using it or it's used against us. Like shooting negates that. I think he's adjusted his defense from place to place. Like, you know what I mean? His defense in Chicago wasn't his defense in
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right.
I gotta go though. My bad, yo. My birds is acting crazy.
Yeah, hey, Tony. Hey, I'm about to jump off anyway, man. I'm gonna probably jump back on probably about 12 o'clock. Hey, everybody in the chat, y'all. Hey, I appreciate y'all coming through. This Knicks at Night thing is huge, man. I be getting hit up all day. Cats is like they loving the Knicks at Night thing, man. Everybody, welcome to come in and do your thing. The only thing I ask y'all to do, be respectful of the guests. And don't come on here spamming, like trying to sell porn or life insurance or some mess like that. You know what I'm saying? We strictly talking Knicks at night. You know what I'm saying? So again, thank everybody for coming through. Y'all subscribe to the channel. I need to be at 800 before the new year come in. So y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all subscribe to Legion of Knicks podcast. He was on earlier. Make sure y'all check out Tony Crow and his endeavors on Sportscaster and also with Sam on YouTube. And on here too, Tone. Hey, you already know I ain't gotta say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. You got a lifetime contract, no paperwork. Just show up whenever you're ready and just jump on. You know how it is.
Send me the link on my in the message, so I have it in my phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do that. Hey, hey, can I DM you on Twitter?
That's fine.
All right, word. All right, that's what I'll do. I'll DM y'all on Twitter, man. Y'all follow me at Uncle Freeze or at Big Freezy. So, and the people wonder why I changed my name. The reason why I changed my name is because at one point I was 488 pounds, right? At 6'5.5", 488. And the reason why I ballooned up to that is because I was taking medicine and it kept putting weight on. So I got in the gym and shed some weight, man, and just kept shedding because I didn't want to be a big boy like that. The only reason why I even put on weight is because I was taking medicine, right? So I got down to 323, and I was like, yo, I ain't necessarily Big Freezy no more. I'm still big, but, not as. So I just changed it to Uncle Freezy because I'm trying to get away from that Big Freezy thing. Yo, hey, shout out to David Lanson, yo, peace, peace, peace. Everybody in the chat, peace, peace, peace. Andy, I see you. Go to work, boy. Drink some coffee.
Yo, Blackest Time. Shout out to the chat. Freezy, doing your thing, my brother.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, come through later on, Tony.
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right. Peace, y'all.
Holla. All right.